We'll get there. All right. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Goop Up Podcast. We're here for the Rivals Season 2 debate. And I brought the Rivals Avengers, which is actually a bit more appropriate in Marvel Rivals than it was in Overwatch. It's actually a franchise conflict when we were doing in Overwatch. But now, I brought the gang with me to discuss all things Season 2. We'll be talking about ranked changes. We'll be talking about heroes. We'll be talking about balance. We'll be talking about why everybody hates Necros, Bogur specifically. And all of that. But first, let me introduce my squad who needs no introducing. In the bottom right, already chiming in there, is my man Bogur. Bogur, what's up?
Hi. I got Celestial 2 today, so I'm really happy about that.
Well done, well done.
Me and Rixie I think we have 70% win rate together, so that's great.
Jesus. Baller. You'll have to drop your tips in the bottom left.
I see. Just play with Rixie.
There you go. Get boosted. Get boosted is the tips. Is that a new Captain America shield there in your background, Flats? Welcome to the stream.
It is. It got sent to me, and it is full metal. It's actually so cool.
That is awesome. That's baller. Damn, that's really cool. So, like, did you try throwing it at stuff?
I definitely break shit. Like, it's heavy.
No, he throws it at random people on the street.
Just walking by, he's like, "Face justice."
Yeah, are you prime subbed? No, okay.
Oh man,
wow.
Crazy. It's heavy. This thing's solid. So if I threw this, it would
quality.
Break.
Damn, they just sent you a straight up weapon in the post. They just sent you a weapon in the mail. All right, that's pretty cool. Well, all right, well, we'll see if that's suddenly made you a Marvel Rival shield or not. In the top left is Aramori. Aramori, how you doing?
Hello, I am doing good. I woke up early for this.
I was literally just gonna say you should be very grateful for Aramori because she woke up earlier than she normally does to come here. Which I as a late sleeper, I understand how painful that is, how much that upsets my entire life. So thank you, Aramori, for giving us your time.
No problem.
Okay, then, gang, let's get to it. As we always begin, we'll begin with your general thoughts. So tell me, gamers, how are you feeling overall, big picture, about Marvel Rivals Season 2? Bogur, we'll begin with you. Rivals Season 2, go.
It's interesting. I think the general consensus is that it could be better. Definitely. There's things to be desired. I think ranked is kind of cooked right now. I think they Giga buffed annoying characters like Captain America and stuff, and Iron Fist, and that's also really annoying. So I think, and then Support Strike, and then Necros canceled, and then yeah. So it's interesting. I don't know. I don't think I don't think we got too many cool things this season to make people keep playing, right? And the things that we got that are cool are just kind of like, so kind of alienated support players a bit, and then Giga buffed a bunch of DPS characters. Emma is cool. I like Emma a lot. But outside of that, a big portion of the player base doesn't play DPS, kind of not having fun.
Yes, I've seen. Like I said, we'll have an extended section talking about this whole support strike and this sort of conflict that's emerged in the Marvel Rivals community. But I've definitely seen more discontent than ever with Marvel Rivals. In fact, I was just browsing the Forsaken site of Twitter, and I saw like the top thing on my thing was J3's tweetings like, Marvel Rivals is ass right now and solo queue is double ass. So he's not having fun.
True.
Flats, is that an accurate assessment of Season 2 Marvel Rivals?
He's absolutely spitting with that one. To be honest, as someone who can freely just run around and play whatever, I don't want to play Rivals that much right now. It's kind of shit. There's a lot of reasons for that. The new rank system, I think, is just dumb. Like, it's genuinely just dumb. I know that there's ways to min-max it. I know there's ways to get around it. I know, like, but it's just not fun. It's just created a lot of issues. The meta is really not that fun. And on top of that, for myself personally, Stadium came out and I had way more fun with that. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go play this instead. So I played a lot more of that. Also, I just every day I regret not making my rivals players yearn for Overwatch video, because every day I feel like we march closer to that. Where like every day people start asking for more stuff. Like we're probably like a month away from the role queue conversation at this point, I feel like. And it's both funny and insane, because I've not played these games once before, not twice before. This is the third time, because we did it in Overwatch 1. We did it with Overwatch 2, and now here we are with Rivals. And it's just like it never fucking ends. We never learn our lessons. We always just do the same shit every goddamn time. And I've been pretty quiet on the Rivals front. I made it very clear in the beginning. I was like, I just want to watch. I'm not going to give you. You're not getting anything from me. I'm just going to be a spectator. But I changed that this week a little bit, just because, shit just got so out of hand and so fast in the last like 2 weeks. And I don't even think people even understand what they're actually mad at. Like, they don't even know. They have no one guiding them. They have nowhere to look. So they're just like losing it.
It's an angry mob.
It's genuinely just angry mob. And I feel like it's also, I hate to say it, but like, I'm just gonna rip it, and I hope you don't mind if I do. I understand that like things are fucked like all around the world right now, and like it makes people very angry and like makes people very polarizing very quickly. But it does leak into gaming a lot of times and make like tribalism had already been very strong in this game, and it also just for some reason makes it always like an us versus them type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Rivals is very much heading down that road already super quickly, whether it's like I don't know if I said it to you, SVB. I remember like over a year ago, or a year or two ago, I noticed this weird trend on the internet where people would use like the word content creator or influencer almost like a slur.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, and I think I had it said to you at some point.
Yeah,
over one of our
to me,
5 a.m.
we were
conversations
talking.
forever ago.
We were talking. No, it was
this
when
was
we
like 2
played
years ago,
Overwatch.
I noticed it. Yeah.
When we played Overwatch, you said the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed it years ago. It was like this for some reason. Like it's like almost being used as a dehumanizing term, and sometimes it's rightfully used. Like for example, with like, Japan, right? Like people go go into Japan to be a tourist or to go like make content in Japan. Like one or two really fucked up people, it ruin it, and then it's like, oh, all these influencers ruin it for everybody. And it's like, well, no, it's like two people. Like you just get to see it because it's on camera. Like those people are stupid. But the same thing happens kind of in gaming as well. And it's become like a war between like casuals versus competitive players, content creators versus the general public, between roles, between heroes, and it's all like us versus them, and it just spirals so fast. And I don't think it affects the people as much that are in it. Like Necros will come back tomorrow and he'll be fine. Like I don't know if he'll actually come back tomorrow. Maybe he's taking a week off. But like it won't affect like the people that are actually in it talking. I think what it affects the most is the people who watch from the shadows, the silent majority, who watch the shit show and go, you know what? Maybe this community is a little too toxic or a little too fucked up for me. I don't think I want to be here that much. And I think that is actually one of the things that can destroy a game's community faster than anything, is the silent majority who sit back and watch and see all the crazy shit happen and go, it's kind of weird. I don't know if I want to be here anymore. And that's my big worry long term right now.
I mean, I'm gonna let Aramori, because we haven't actually even said hi to Aramori yet properly, so I'm gonna let her time in. But you're describing me actually, Flat. So we'll touch base on that in a second. But yeah, Aramori, that was a lot of different points that Flats made very eloquently about things, the state of Marvel Rivals. As someone who probably is not allowed to bounce off of Marvel Rivals, how are you feeling at the moment?
I feel like my view on the season is a little bit different because I honestly have not had a super ton of time in ranked right now. Like for instance, Bogur said he's Celestial 2. I'm GM2 right now. Like I just have not been able to. I know, right? I have not been able to just like sit down and sink in time.
That's crazy.
I have not been able to sit down, sink in time, and like just play. And that's because I've had like tournaments and just a whole bunch of other things that have kept me off of the ranked ladder. So my view of the season and how it's been has kind of been from like scrims almost solely. But the times that I have played ranked, I have noticed just like people are just so angry with each other, and it just seems like, I don't know, maybe it has something to do with the Necro situation. I'm not sure. Maybe it is the whole like, oh, this game's kind of old now. Like we're getting out of the honeymoon phase of the game. People are very angry, and I've seen more throwers that I have this season than any other season, and I've played less this season, which is crazy to even think about, right? But yeah, I don't know. My view of the season is definitely different, I think, than yours. I think Emma is a fantastic addition to the game. She seems to just fit right in. She kind of has this like Diva Zarya counter thing going on with the thing where if you play the thing versus her, you kind of get melted, right? Which is kind of like a fun thing for me, right? I'm like, oh, they have a thing. Let's just go Emma. Not to trigger Flats or any other tank players.
I've been
But,
playing only Emma. I have Emma is great. I love Emma. I just want to agree. I think I have
Yeah.
30 hours on her. I have
Wow.
65% win rate. It's great. I love him.
Yeah,
Awesome
you have
character.
Lord, right? With
Yeah, I
30
do.
hours? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. And she also kind of feels like and maybe we'll touch on this for like new characters in the future, but it feels like she's very strong. But she's not a must pick for one, and she's outplayable, right? It's really tough to put a new character in the game, and they have these really strong abilities that you just can't play around at all. But she has like a very limited range. It's very obvious when she goes into her diamond form. You know, like okay, she's gonna go for her grab. There's things you can do to like outplay that and not get grabbed or whatever. So great character. Just want to say that I love her a lot, and she's very hot.
Important, very
That's
important.
the view of my season, yeah. I'm
Very
like, oh no,
important.
they have an Emma. Don't choke me.
All right, well that's a whole other section we could get into, but you know, I think having already broached the subject, let's dive into this. The central controversy, guys, that even I have seen from the outside looking in on Marvel Rivals has kind of plagued it. But let's actually paint the timelines, because I believe this all started because of the rank changes that occurred in season 2, right? Where they basically changed the system to add performance-based MMR, which was disproportionately screwing over the support players. So let's have, you know, we had a good chime in from Flats there. Actually, Aramori, do you mind describing what this change was and like what effect it actually ended up having? And then we'll actually dive deeper in.
They essentially put in performance-based SR, which if you remember way back when Overwatch first came out, actually was in the game, right? So again, we've played these games
That
before,
was great.
right?
That was great. That was great. I'm so glad we had performance-based SR. I'm surely there was no reason they removed it.
Right. And then I'm seeing the same arguments come up of why it was inevitably removed, of, you know, the easy heroes that farm, you know, SR more quickly, shoot up in ranks really fast, even though it's not necessarily hard to get, you know, good stats with those characters. But anyways, performance-based SR came into the game, and it seems to be, from what we can tell, rewards kills more than anything, like final hits more than anything. So this means like DPS characters, tank characters, anything that really farms final hits, right? Maybe your Psylocke that ends with 20 final blows at the end of the game. They're going to get a lot more ranked points than the other people on their team. I have felt this, but not as much as people are like blowing it out of proportion. I think I don't care either way, but I also play, like, in terms of strategists, I play Loki a lot. So I get a lot of final blows. I get a lot of damage in my games. My character doesn't just, you know, usually sit back and heal. It's usually a lot of both. Same thing with like Sue. Sue also gets a lot of both. So I don't know. My advice to strategist players that are feeling the I don't know, performance-based SR is pick a strategist that does more damage. I don't know. Like that's kind of what it's come down to right now. I know Rocket is kind of hit the most. He gets like, I don't know, on average maybe like 5 points less than everybody else on his team, which is kind of tough.
Hello guys, SEB here, and the Goop Up podcast is back, and I'd like to take just 30 seconds of your time to talk to you about 2 quick things. Firstly, Patreon. If you enjoy the content, then please do consider supporting directly, because Patreon takes only about 10% of the money you give, where YouTube and Twitch take 40 and 50% respectively. So if you'd like to support the podcast, then that is the best way to do so. Secondly, if you're someone who enjoys video essays or detailed analysis of movies, TV, or anime, then please do check out my second channel, The Soak, where I'll be making videos about those kind of topics much more frequently, and where a lot of my attention will go beyond just Overwatch. It would mean the absolute world to me if you guys would check it out, but that's it for now. Let's head back to the discussion. Yeah, I mean, we've all played these games before, and you know, when Flats first brought it up, it made me think of that famous Karl Marx quote, which is like, history repeats itself first as tragedy, second as farce. And we're at the farce stage now, where we just like, you just have to laugh that like all these things we're we've seen it happen, we've seen it play out, and still people keep yearning for it. But players, I don't think in the game ever like when this happens, when it's like their hero is disproportionately punished, right? It's like, oh well, why does my, I want to heal bot, why do I get punished for it, right? So I can already imagine, you put that on paper and you can say, yeah, people are not going to like this. But Bogur, how did we go from that change where it's like, okay, maybe some heroes are getting less SR, to a civil war with Necros at the heart of it, the Spider-Man at the front punching everyone. What happened? Like, paint the timeline.
The timeline is somebody on TikTok took a clip of Necros saying support players are boosted in season 1 months ago, talked about it, and then people start piling on and nobody even knows what the original clip was about. It's so funny, actually. And then people keep flaming him because they keep getting views on TikTok and keeps getting insane. A friend of mine in real life told me, bro, I don't play Rivals, I don't watch your content, but why is everyone flaming you and Necros? What the fuck is going on, right? So it's just left the Rivals little place, and it's into the stratosphere in the algorithms of TikTok. So people keep piling on because it keeps getting views and people keep flaming him. So yeah, and also because people that play support are getting less points and they feel like they're getting screwed over, and dive is really annoying for them because it's you kind of rely on your team, but you also need to change your play style, and if you don't, you just get cooked. It's like, we've played these games before, as you said. It was the same in Overwatch. Everybody hated dive because, I'll be honest with you, I don't think dive is strong. I think there's 2 factors. First, people do not swap or position correctly against dive, so they get cooked because they keep walking in without thinking. And then second, nobody ever peels them, so they just keep
Thinking's
dying.
hard, Bogur.
Thinking is hard. That is true. You can if you can't press W in a straight line and press mouse 1 every fight, then what is the point of playing? Why add variety to your gameplay? But yeah, dive isn't that good. There's so many counters to dive, but I guess again, as Aramori said, thinking is hard. So you wanna make it as easy as possible for the support players. And I don't blame them. If sometimes, even if you play smart, if they have 2 divers or 3 divers and nobody on your team swaps or helps you, you just get cooked every fight. So, and it doesn't feel especially good because before you would lose the same amount as everybody else, but now you lose more. I had a game with Flats we played. So one of our DPS players swapped to support. He lost 27 or 26 points.
Oh
the
my
other
God.
the other DPS player that played DPS the entire game lost 8. So so that was great. That was actually really funny. So
we had a few of those.
We've had, so every time somebody swaps to support, especially because they can't play support as efficiently as everybody else, they're just getting cooked. And then if you play DPS, you're just not getting cooked. Like, even if you lose, if you focus on kills and stats, you just don't lose that many points. So I even sat down and looked at support players' profiles, and that guy, I think it was super sticky, actually. I looked at 6 wins and 6 losses. After 3 wins, so he lost 6 games. After 3 wins, he was already even on points. And then I looked at Kaiji's 6 wins and 6 losses. At 50% win rate, he was negative on points. So I was like, awesome, that feels great. And he even lost 15 points in 2 games. So it wasn't even... So even in that case, the DPS player just was greatly outperforming points-wise, purely because he was stat maxing, right? So, and it's not his fault. You just get rewarded for playing DPS way more than playing support. So you just pile on everything. I guess it's the oppression. It's not the bans, it's the oppression, guys. And I guess it's the, like, supports are getting flamed, and then the biggest figurehead says, support players suck. And then they're getting less points. And then the rogue is... I'll be honest, I'm sorry, Aramori, I feel like support is fucking boring unless you play Loki or Adam. Or maybe Invis is fun. I think Invis is great. Then I think like 60% of the cast is actually just boring. Really boring to play or watch. And you just don't have the tools necessary to deal with people. Your role is kind of boring. You get less points. You are needed every game, so you keep playing it, and then people bully you online. And then, it just kind of sucks. So it just kind of piled on, and people are flaming and losing their minds and support. People were saying in my stream that there are people legit going AFK in their games saying #support strike. So that's quite funny.
Right, because that's a very good summary, I think, of the problems with the system. Like just you describing it immediately, it's like, yeah, this is a huge problem. The devs surely have to do something about it. And so
it's just alienating 1/3 of the player base, right? So.
And again, we've seen this in Overwatch. Like anytime you make a change that disproportionately hurts one role, and Flats, I'm sure will chime in a second about like this. We've kind of become a consumer group that likes to identify themselves more as like, we are a role, like we are supports, we are DPS, we are whatever. And so anytime you punish one group disproportionately, they're going to be up in arms. And so, yeah, from what I gather, essentially there was like a Reddit post or something which was suggesting that like support players, we should go on strike. And this then became memed on amongst the wider community as like, oh, the support strike, which somehow Necros, as you described, kind of rightly or wrongly became embroiled as the center, and everybody was like, fuck this guy, he's creating a bad atmosphere.
He's being crucified like Jesus Christ, guys. He's dying for your sins, and now they're actually changing the system, guys. He's gone.
So yeah, so we sort of ended up there into a, again, lore appropriately, a civil war, which is where I want to bring Flats in now. So yeah, this sort of, you kind of alluded to at the start, Flats, and I think I'm just gonna let you go off. Like, say what you want to say about like this whole situation. Like, what's the impact for you as a creator, you as just a part of the community? Like, how do you feel about all this?
I think Flats just doesn't want to interact with it. No.
Well, where do you want me to start?
Oh god.
Just go. Like, go whatever you feel is most pressing. Like, just let it out. I have thoughts too, but I want you to go first, and then I'll go second.
All right. Well, we'll start with the worst man in the room with the Necro stuff.
The worst man in the room.
Worst man in the room. Yeah. Fuck that guy. Heck that guy.
Yeah,
yep.
W.
I mean, real talk. It's unfortunate for him because no flame to him, but he's kind of unfortunately not gotten used to what his now influence and audience is. Like, no flame against him, but before he went to Rivals, I think he was like 1,000 viewer on max average, whether from Overwatch or even less on Deadlock. To go from that to averaging 10, 20K is a massive radical shift. And unfortunately, the true reality is there are many streamers, and I could name you 20 off the top of my head, who I've heard say the exact sentence of like, either support is easy, support is boosted, support players are the worst players, whatever. Like, that is a common phrase among players, and it is stupid and it's wrong, because every role is important in these games. It's always, every role is important. You can say the same thing about every role, and you'd argue, people always say like support diff or whatever. I'd argue if it was role queue, tanks would be the ones that get flamed the most, not support players. I think that everyone would be saying tank diff every single goddamn game. But here's the thing. Unfortunately, when you become of that size, what you say is taken a little bit stronger than what it was before. And it may have been okay to meme and joke about a lot of that stuff in the past, but like, you have to realize that like that kind of stuff can happen, and people can look at those things and go, you know what, hey, like that was kind of dumb. And like, do I get mad at players in my games? Absolutely. I will say like, so, oh my god, this person on my team is absolute fucking shit. But that's different than saying like everyone who plays this role is absolute shit, right? And having a little bit of that in the back of your mind while you're talking is kind of important to know and to think about, because like, even if he was baiting, even if he's memeing, whatever it might be, because like, I don't even know if he does truly believe that, maybe he does. It's like, you kind of have to realize like, yeah, like if we had to sit down and have a debate, are we going to sit here and actually say like, do support players are actually terrible at the game? Like, are all support players are bad? Are we going to actually say that? Are they all actually boosted? Or do we want to like talk about like, yeah, people, if they're playing on DPS and they're not good at DPS, what role they have them go swap? They tell them go play support, right? Because mechanically it is on average the easiest of the three roles. The other one, maybe being tank, is a little bit more mechanically easy, but it's much tougher to be good game sense as a tank player, because you have to manage both aggression and peel and all these other things. It's much easier to pick a character like Rocket and just hold right click. Like, mechanically, that is way fundamentally easier than playing DPS and clicking a bunch of heads if you're not able to do it. So that's why people always tell you to swap support. But like, if you don't play support and you're playing at your normal elo, and then you decide to play support every single game, and you only play the heal bot right click Rocket, or you always just try to like heal bot Luna, you're probably on average going to lose a few more games than you were winning on your DPS games or your tank games, right? Like there is skill that is involved. That being said, though, like that doesn't mean that what he said was not considered quote truth among players for forever, even if it was wrong. He was just kind of the person that ends up being the person like who gets to fall on the sword for it. And kind of have to realize going forward, like, hey, like you got to be a little bit more careful when you say stuff like that, because like they are right. Like them being mad about that being said is right. Like they objectively are correct. Should you be getting death threats and should you be like getting like crucified across the internet over it? No,
yes.
It's like unemployed behavior, right? But like at the same time, though, there is a little bit of accountability that needs to be on both sides. But the part that scares me more is this radicalization of like whataboutism, where it's like, well, his influence over everyone else is going to cause toxicity in my games. No, that has always existed. Everyone gets flamed in every way, that shape, or form. Tank players get flamed for being tank diff. DPS players get flamed all the time for not getting enough kills or not getting more kills than the other enemy or getting diffed by the enemy. And support players get flamed all the time for either not ulting correctly or not saving somebody or not healing somebody or using one button, right? And they're like, oh, your role is so easy. You just press one button and you win the entire game. No, that's not true either. But like in some aspects, like if you don't ult correctly, yeah, you're going to lose. Like, yeah, like they're kind of technically right. Necros could be sitting there on his stream every day and saying that nonstop, and he would not probably make it any worse than it currently already is. It's always existed, right? But it shouldn't exist. It shouldn't be like that, but it is that way. And the only way that changes is if the collective of people start to agree that that is wrong and either stick up for each other or to kind of push the narrative of like, hey, that's actually not true. That's a much harder ask long term because most people don't give a fuck. They just like have their own mentality and they move on with their day. That would take years, and it hopefully does change. But maybe I'm too pessimistic, but I don't think it really will. I think that people are just going to argue till the day they die on that department. But you know what will actually be bad is all the people that watch from the shadows who are just casuals or hell, even competitive players that are looking at this, and they might even get flashbacks to old 2017 Overwatch, where Overwatch used to have a reputation for being a very toxic game. It did. Today, if you ask today's Overwatch player, you'd be like, I don't know. Like you actually see more people complaining about their account getting banned for saying stupid shit now, right? Like people, you always see the Overwatch posts of, I got banned for telling some guy he smells, and then like it's not actually the truth. They just like inspect elements and change what they said, but like, you know, like they might have flashbacks like, oh, this is actually kind of a toxic community. I don't know if I want to be here. And I think that does long-term damage to a community and to a game because it either does one of two things. If those people don't get banned and nothing ever happens and it gets worse, it signals to them that the toxicity is okay. But the opposite end of that is if they do start banning and they do start going after people that like are toxic in your games and doing all this other stuff, those people get really mad because they're losing their accounts and they also get really vocal. And then they also leave. So you've already started this downhill slide where it's like, well, now that people are pissed off, well, what do we do about it? Right? Like there is a few ways, like the rank system changing back and like not having as much impact on individual numbers, because numbers are not everything. For stats don't mean shit. The only thing stats should matter is wins and losses. Yeah, of course we can argue like, you know, you shouldn't have many deaths and like, you know, on average you should be keeping up and heal. But like regardless though, as long as you're winning games, that's the thing that matters the most. But like that at this point, I feel like people are too radicalized. Like they're all in on one thing. And my worry is the whataboutism of like, oh, like this other thing or that other thing is if we just kind of like everyone took a breath and was like, hey, you know, let's fix the rank system. You know, support experience could probably get a little bit of help and everything would be fine. Like things would go back to normal. Is the truth, but I don't think it'll be the reality. I think that from now on, people are going to look at that as like a quote unquote moment of like, we are lesser than, and it's going to be used as a weapon for their role to either get more tools or more characters or more things. And just like in Overwatch, there was a time when Overwatch 2 came out where support was the victim role, and I literally dubbed it playing Dead by Daylight. It's still a phrase used to this day, actually. and Overwatch overbuffed supports way too hard, and it pissed off the other roles, especially like the DPS purists, and they wanted to leave, and they all got pissed off, and everyone was like, this is ass, right? And then they have to pull that back away from those support players, and those support players who were previously angry and felt justified in their anger now feel like it's going to be happening again because they're being quote unquote, like their tools are being taken away from them again. Like at this moment where they finally feel like they have enough, we'll then restart this process of everyone getting mad again. It's like the dam has already been broken. So maybe I'm too pessimistic, but I don't think it'll ever go back to the way it was. I think we are now on the road of like a ticking time bomb where everyone's just going to be pissed. And it's like, depends on who's going to be pissed at the current moment. And everyone's going to play the whataboutism game, and everyone's going to have the blame game. And I just hope it doesn't get worse is my only hope.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about like toxicity in online games is that it's like, it is completely inevitable. Like I have not met a single multiplayer online game where people are not going to start bitching and griping. Like I think there's the separation between you want to eliminate people like slurring each other or using offensive words, but like someone bitching and griping and be like, you didn't do a good job, like switch hero, is inevitable, right? As long as there's communication, there's going to be someone bitching. But I'm curious to take it to Aramori, then we'll take it to Bogur, then I have a rant in the pocket as well. But Aramori, like this, I think part of what Flats is alluding to there is this sort of division between the roles, right? It's like we are support players and like we are maligned, we are, duelists or whatever, name your poison. Is there a healthier approach to this? Like, is there anything that can change about this? Or do you kind of share Flat's pessimism that it's like the pin in the grenade has been pulled and we're just kind of waiting for it to blow up, right? It's just going to always be getting worse.
I don't know. I do not have Flats's experience on watching all of this. Like, I kind of feel like, yeah, we saw it with Overwatch before. I do think the worst thing that the devs could do is overbuff supports, to just like have them live forever and have a million ways to deal with everything and then can't kill anything. Like that for me would be like the worst thing that they could do, right? And I actually put out a tweet as soon as I saw this like Necro situation and like the strategist strike. Like I put out a tweet and I said, yeah, strategist is way freaking harder this season. And I was talking about how Captain America and like Venom, they get to go in and be in like all the time, and it's really hard to like force them out, right? It takes a lot of people turning and looking at a Venom that can just get like, what is it, like 1,000 HP, like the press of a button, to actually force him out. Then he just swings out and lives anyways, and then within like 10 seconds he's back again, right? It's really hard to deal with that like constant pressure, right? Whereas in other seasons it was kind of like you sit back, everybody's playing like a front to back style, right? Like so instead of shooting at the supports, you're shooting at the tanks, right? And then that kind of creates a better environment for strategists. They can kind of just sit back, do their job, not have to worry too much. Just press your buttons at the right time, right? All at the right time. So I do think this season strategist is way harder than it was, and that's the nature of dive being meta. But I think a lot of the frustration comes in where all these players that got used to that, like that's all Rivals has been for its entire life, has been this like front to back. We are witnessing the first ever dive meta, at least on live servers. I think in the alpha and the beta it was very dive focused, and then they introduced more things. Anyways, it is the first time the majority of the Marvel Rivals population has had to deal with a dive meta. So all of these players that were very used to this like style, that's what they thought Marvel Rivals was like sitting back, healing your team. You don't have to deal with too much, right? Now they're like, well, what the hell? What is going on? I'm dying all the time and people are getting mad at me for doing this. And, this isn't just happening in like lower ranks. This is like happening in like GM and Celestial. These players that's what they did was sit back and heal are now like, why am I dying? Why am I'm having a bad time? I'm getting flamed. Like, this is terrible. And so I hate to kind of say it, but it's a little bit of like a skill check, right? It's like all of these support players that kind of got to where they are doing something relatively easy, sitting back and, hitting their shots. And we even said like last season that the more you played, the more the system rewarded you. You could get to relatively high rank by just kind of like logging the hours, right? We saw the rank distribution of there was a lot of people in GM and Celestial, right? Just from kind of like playing the game. And so I think it's kind of like a eye-opening, like, oh my gosh, this is hard. This is harder than I thought it would be. And I think a lot of people are very, very upset by that. That being said, I do think it is pretty easy to play the dive characters. I don't think it's as hard as it is in Overwatch to like know where to jump as I'm talking Overwatch 1, by the way. Know where to jump as Winston, know how to help your Winston as Diva, know how to flank as Tracer and get in, right? Like all of those characters in Overwatch 1, it was very punishing if you did something wrong. But it feels like in Rivals right now, if you are an Iron Fist and you go in, it is very easy to get in and out and have, you know, your full kick or whatever it is. Same thing with Cap. It's insanely easy to go in and just punch people and then get out, right? And live with your life. So I do think that, yes, Strategist is way harder in a dive meta. And I do think it is a skill check. Like, you gotta figure it out, guys, a little bit. It's also, I do think they need to tune back the divers just a little bit. It's a little bit too hard to force them out. If I have my whole team turning and shooting at a Venom, this is in pro play, by the way, and it takes like 5 seconds to force that person out, that is an insane amount of time. And he can just, it's very easy for him. He just slams in, gets a billion HP, lives for a little bit, his team gets to do whatever they want, and then he's out with his life. I have not seen, even in pro play, it's so hard to kill the Venom. So hard. You have to hit like every freeze on that guy. Maybe skill check, but anyways, that's my whole piece.
Well, I mean, at pro level, if it's a skill check, then what does a normal person have, right? Like that's insane.
Right.
And kind of, yeah, I mean, the gist of what I got from what you're saying, Armor, is that there's a lot of nuance, basically, like, right? There's like some characters maybe overtuned, some characters need to learn, like, yeah, this is the reality now, get with it. But I think there's inevitable human nature is like when you have a thing and that thing is taken away, it's more painful than never having the thing in the first place. Loss aversion, I guess, is one way of calling it, right? It's like having a free... It would have been better to start hard and make it easier than to start easy and make it harder, because now people feel like, oh, you're taking something away from me. So I want to take it to Bogur. I have a rant in the... Yeah, go ahead, Flats.
Can I really quick?
Yeah, please. Anyone, go ahead, chime in.
Because I wholeheartedly agree with her as a competitive player. Because we've been doing this for years, right? Like all of us have. But here's the problem with this. Rivals has positioned itself as a, quote, casual game. More casual game. And it also has a more approachable, easier to approach like gameplay loop than, say, Overwatch. My concern is because at this point, right, I am at the point where I want this game to be as casual as fucking possible, because I have my competitive shooter. It's called Overwatch. And everyone said for years that it's too competitive. People listen too much to balance, whatever. I personally want to see both. I want to see the casual one. And I think that a lot of support players, the large majority of support players outside of our group, like of hyper competitive people, want that gameplay loop to be, I pick support, I heal my teammates, I heal my tank, and then I do a little bit of other things. Like I can sometimes freeze, you can sometimes hit a sleep, you sometimes push somebody away, but the overall majority is they want to go in and they want to click on the big guy in front of them and heal them, and then hit their big button and then save everybody. That's what they want. And what this meta is specifically is you have to go on the offensive to fight that Venom, to fight that Cap. You have to hit your freezes. You have to hit your buttons. You have to actually fight back. And they don't like it. They don't want to do it. And I'm a little concerned because, like, I know that you're right, but we're hitting a crossroads in Rivals where they're going to have to decide, is the support role going to be about healing, or is it going to be more supporting like in Overwatch? And I think the wrong call is to go the support version of Overwatch. Bogur was saying earlier he thinks a lot of the supports in this game are boring. But I don't think that most people who play support in this game, like the large majority of people, think they're boring because they don't want, they like, even if like, for example, they like you want to be able to get kills, you want to be able to hit cooldowns, you want to have impact outside of just heal botting, right? There are a lot of people that love to heal bot. And you can start to take that even further, right? Where, we were talking about like, we don't want to buff supports too much to the point where they're like unkillable. I remember like a month and a half ago, everyone was complaining about Luna ult still and saying like Luna ult needs to be 8 seconds instead of 12, right? And like we did the same thing in Overwatch where like Zenyatta ult, right? Like Zenyatta used to be insane ult, like one of the most insane ults. Now like nobody gives a fuck. It's like, okay, whatever. And people will still get so good at min-maxing it that like in high tier play, right? Even if you made Luna ult 8 seconds, it would still probably be an insanely powerful ult, right? But for other ranks, that 12 seconds gives them time to react to other things. It gives them times to like actually, work their way forward to healing their tanks. And then like after 2 or 3 seconds realize, oh, my backline still needs help. And then they slowly work their way back because the speed of the game is just incredibly different. And I do like spectating bronze. I used to do it in Overwatch a lot. The difference between a bronze Overwatch player and a rivals player is like the rivals player looks like an infant picked up a controller. Like the Overwatch player looks like, they look like they're like Diamond in GM or Diamond in Rivals like last season, right? Like it's crazy the difference between them. And even though I know you're right, I feel like going more healing is what those people want. I feel like that's what they want. But I don't know if that's what they're going to actually do. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. And I think if they go the route that you were talking about, like the more support route, I think people are going to get really mad. And I think they're going to cite that as a reason why they don't want to play the game anymore. And again, maybe this is me being maybe too cynical. I don't think there's a winning road because they've already been set up to the point where if you buff these supports, which they're going to do, people are already think support's too strong for their like healing capabilities and their survival capabilities. If you give them the ability to kill too, people are going to start getting really mad and saying support is too strong. And then they got to pull something back. And if they just gave them killing ability, what are they going to take away? Probably healing.
And again, we saw this in Overwatch, right? Where it's like people would be like, BAP is a better duelist than most DPS. And it's like, okay, yeah, like, we're just hitting. I think this is always the pull, though, Bogur. Like, this is always the pull, right? In a game where it's like, do you lean into what a certain role likes and therefore make it more niche, more like, okay, well, only support players will like this? Or do you try and make a role more general so that like a Marvel rival player could enjoy all the roles, right? But then that comes at the cost of sanding it down potentially. So firstly, do you agree kind of with what Flats has said? And then do you have anything in relation to this and the whole issue at hand?
In the words of my good friend Fan, I just want to be a pocket pussy. I don't want to think. She plays support and she loves just heal botting. And that is so many people in this game. They just love being pocket pussies, bro. And that's great. And now, listen, now with the entire dive situation and annoying characters like Captain and Iron Fist being stronger, being a pocket pussy is just fucking hard now, okay? It's hard. You need to think, you need to do stuff, and a lot of people don't want to think. They just want to click the buttons, and they want to deal with an Iron Fist. They don't want to deal with Captain. Even if you think, what are you going to do against the Venom in Plat? You can't do anything, right? So what are you going to do against Captain America? What are you going to do against Iron Fist? So it feels like Dead by Daylight, as Flats would say. So I think at its core, Rivals is a very casual experience. And you can see it purely off of the people interacting with us as content creators and the way people play the game. When I was playing Overwatch a few days ago or yesterday, bro, even in Diamond and Masters, people are playing like fucking SF Shock back in the day, right? Like it's insane. They're all positioning high ground. I played one rank game in low Masters. It was People were on high ground, taking angles. The Brigitte was playing with a soldier. She was peeling for him. Bro, I've never seen somebody take an angle in Rivals, okay? Like, it's like only the veteran Overwatch players are flanking and doing stuff. Nobody takes high grounds and angles and rotations and like whatever. People are just like, front to back. The supports are here, the DPS here, and the tanks are here. That's it. That's it. There's no variety there. All the high grounds, everything, nobody uses them. It's all just send it down, man. You use a supporto, they use a supporto. Too much thinking, forget about it, right? So just press the buttons and that it works because, as Vlad said, it is a very casual experience. When the Rivals came out, people liked coming in. They loved sitting there, and they loved sitting in the back and just clicking buttons and healing people and having fun by doing the bare minimum and yapping with their friends and then winning games, and felt good. And the DPS players could do DPS things and the tank players could do tank things, and it was great. But now I feel like the casual audience is just, now that they're being faced with the entire concept of thinking about their actions, like Aramori said, I think people are kind of realizing that there's a lot more to this game, and I don't think a lot of people like that. I think they just want to keep going back to the old style of just sitting there and doing, just the bare minimum, right? You don't need too much to get value and support. Now you do, but before you didn't. And it kind of feels bad for them because people realize that, hey, I'm not that good at the game. Actually, I'm kind of bad, but I can't admit that, so I need to flame somebody. So I feel like it is quite the crossroads right now. What do you want to do? I think if Rivals decides to go more competitive and, alienate that player base, I think they're going to lose a lot because it is very casual. The Marvel IP is, in general, very casual. A lot of the pool is from just cool characters in the game doing cool things. And that was the appeal, you go watch your favorite character or play with your favorite character and you do cool stuff. And even when Rivals was giga casual, and it still is super casual, I think there was still a lot of depth in the game, and there still is. Like, there's so much cool things you can do. So I think there's this good balance. I especially last season, or like when the game was very early, that I felt was like the good players can really distinguish themselves, and the bad players can still get value and have fun. So now with the Captain America is such a terrible character. I'm sorry, guys, and Iron Fist, we need to break his arms, bro. It's just actual terrible characters. There's no point buffing these characters so much. Yeah, Cap is cool, but like he can be cooler if they didn't just focus on him being immortal, right? It's like I had a game today, and if I want to do anything as a tank player, when they have a captain that's semi good, I need to sit on point and deal with him. It's like a very annoying fly. Yeah. He doesn't do anything, but I don't do anything either. He would just sit on cart with a Mr. Fantastic for 3 minutes, and we couldn't do anything, bro. I was like, bro, what the fuck is this? What is so I feel like we should have less characters like Fanta Man and Captain America be giga strong immortal, and have more characters like Magic and Black Panther. They're never too strong, but like if he pops off, you're like, damn, that was impressive, right? So that's cool. And Venom, bro, Andrew, my dear goat, he will be upset, but fuck that character. That character is so boring, bro. That character is so boring. There is some interesting things. Yes, SVB, I'm listening.
Well, I was going to say, because, this is obviously, we can absolutely go into a discussion later on like the actual balance particulars. But while we're on this topic that you brought up really well there about this, essentially what I would say is like a paradox between casual and competitive, right? Because we've seen multiple games go through the same problem where you start off casual, but there's an inherent problem in that you want people to play more, right? You want people to get invested in your game, buy your skins, which inherently involves them spending more time, which involves them getting better, which then they want a more competitive game, right? They're like, well, I want a challenge now because I want to be rewarded for the time and hours I spent. But if you want to keep it casual, you then have to like keep things really simple and easy. So my genuine question to you guys is like, where is it possible for the paradox to be solved? Like, can you actually ever keep a truly casual game if you're encouraging players to play more?
I mean, It's a crossroads, and I don't think it's ever gonna happen. You can't have all the casuals happy and all the pros happy, right? Like unless you genuinely make 2 game modes where it's like if you try hard you get banned, right? Type of deal. It's like okay, like it's just a natural progression of things. Like a game comes out, everybody's happy, everything's fresh, and then people get more toxic and get meaner because they realize all the faults in the game, and it gets like really it feels bad, and then somebody nerfs something they don't like and it just falls apart. And I don't think it's the death of Rivals. I think Rivals is still going to be super popular every time they release a new hero and when they fix the rank system, but it's never going to be just like what it was 2 or 3 months ago, and that is completely normal. Okay, like every season they're going to keep changing things, they're going to keep buffing things, and they're going to keep improving on things, but it's just it is just the experience of any game. There's no game that keeps releases to a peak and that keeps breaking the peak all the time. Like way into the future, it might. But Rivals is so young, you don't know what's gonna happen, right? So, I think it's just as I said. I think one of the biggest gripes right now, the 2 biggest gripes, which really push away all the casuals, is quite literally characters like Captain and Iron Fist and even Venom just being a nuisance. It's just not even fun to play against. Like Aramori said, you need to have everybody turn around and shoot him, and even if you do, it takes 5 seconds plus with a pro team. In fucking Silver, bro, that's 1 minute plus. Okay, so there's these characters just like really ruin the the order of the game, like which Aramori stated, which was the supports in the bag and they click on buttons. It just ruins it so hard, and it's not in a fun way because you don't need much skill expression to do it, right? It's really fun to watch a good Magic player or a BP player do their thing, and it's really easy to counter them once they turn into an issue. But like, what the fuck do you do against the Captain America? Or like, they genuinely like what? Like in that elo, like he jumps in, he punches your supports. He might not even kill them, but he's not gonna die, right? And then he's gonna ult, and that's another like 10 seconds, and then he's full HP plus, and then he just keeps running around.
Can I tell you what pros are doing?
What?
They're ignoring him because he does like fuck all damage. So the strat is literally like, okay, I have a fly on me. Okay, as long as he's by himself, I'm just gonna keep healing my team. That's it.
The tickle monster.
It's insane. Literally, he's the
monster.
real tickle monster. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Anyways, sorry.
Yeah. But in lower elo, you're just panicking. Imagine you're a 9 to 5 dad who comes back from the oil rig shift, feeds their fucking kids, sits down to play support his favorite character, Rocket Raccoon, and gets beaten by a fucking Captain America 24/7. It's just fucking rough. And then an Iron Fist says cheaper town hall and keeps beating him, and fucking it's just over, bro. Right? So it's just really annoying. Plus, every time you lose because you can't play the game because. Okay, here's another issue about support.
Oh,
and the entire... No. Just real quick.
Okay, this is relevant.
Really quick. No. I'm not talking shit about support. I'm talking about the support SR system. If your team is getting rolled, it is very, very obvious that the supports are gonna have the worst stats and they're gonna lose the most points, right? Because the DPS can go do their thing, tanks can do their thing, but if you guys are getting rolled, support can't do anything with our front line. And they can't do anything because maybe they're getting rolled because the entire team is focusing them. So they're going to have horrible stats and they're going to lose 20 million gajillion points. So it doesn't fucking feel good to win 2 games or 3 games in a row and then go play a game, get steamrolled, and lose all of your progress instantly because you got rolled. And because it's just on paper, it looks like you fed. But there's a lot of nuance in the game. You can't just say, oh my God, this guy is the reason why they lost. Well, maybe it's because we didn't go the thing or nobody swapped or we had one support and I was only one on support and whatever else. And it just feels so bad if you're a casual player, right?
No, it's a good point. And I just want to
take it. Feels bad if you're anyone.
Yeah.
Feels bad if you're anyone, but you can negate the effects if you're on tank or DPS, even slightly. On tank, a little bit less than DPS, but in DPS, you can just leave voice chat and farm kills. And you like -8 points, easy.
So I'll take it to either Flats or Aramori. Either of you feel free to chime in on this. Like, let's go to this one more touch on the paradox, of the comp casual. Because I saw Flats, you were kind of smiling on that part. So we'll talk about that part, and then Aramori, any thoughts? And then I'll drop my rant finally on this whole situation. So go ahead, Flats.
The paradox on what? Sorry,
the comp casual, like the competitive player versus casual player paradox. Like, can you really ever make a game that will satisfy?
No, I think that the us versus them mentality that has become the reality we now live in is too strong to ever even have a conversation about that type of stuff. It is becoming more of a widespread opinion that pros ruin games, streamers ruin games, content ruins games.
Oh boy.
It started growing in the last like 2 years.
Can I just add one quick one? When I was playing Overwatch, the funniest comments were pro players ruin Overwatch, and then somebody 5 minutes later would come into my channel and be like, casual players ruined Overwatch. And it's like, bro, pick your fight. Like, who ruined Overwatch? Casuals or pros?
Yeah, well, that's the thing though, because people are so used to grifting, like true grifting. Like, actually, that's even lost its meaning. I mean, like true, like you pick one side and you never move. Overwatch, unfortunately, tried to make everyone happy. They really did do their best with trying to balance for both, whether it was, that's the whole reason Brig existed, by the way, was because people would scream that dive was too strong and support players were getting eaten alive.
Yep.
Take this as a warning. And they tried to make it so that they could have a character to pick to fight against it. And then, at that time, like they were being accused of listening to pros and streamers too much, so that they kind of let it go. They were like, okay, like let's see if we can make this work. And then pros went fucking ballistic because it was just ruining the entire game. Rightfully so, right? Like they were the ones being most affected, but this stuff takes time to trickle, right? That was like dropping a nuclear warhead on the community. And normally whenever small changes happen, it takes a few weeks for it to ripple out. And I always try to tell people, they don't listen, but the casual especially, I'm like, listen to me. If you hear streamers or pro players complaining about something, you're going to sit there and go, I don't know why you're complaining. I'm still having fun. Give it 3 weeks. Give it 3 weeks, and I guarantee you'll come around because they play more than you, so they'll bump into the problem sooner. They are like an indicator of what will happen later. There is no pro syndicate. There's no streamer syndicate. There's
Flats
no
is
underground
controlling all of
society
us. He's holding my family hostage. Help me.
They will bump into it first. So they are an indicator to be like a litmus test of like, oh shit, like this is becoming a problem, to give time to start working on a solution to the problem when it hits everyone else later, so you don't have to deal with it for long, right? That's like how it's historically always worked. The thing is, though, is as this new culture has started to persist, we saw it in Overwatch. People don't want to say anything anymore because they don't want to become the targets. They don't want to be the person blamed. They don't want to be that's like, you guys are, quote, ruining our fun, right? And even if a lot of players are right? If pro players are right, like this certain thing is broken, right? And the reason why you're so fucking good at it is the reason why you're a pro, right? Like you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, every pro player is very fucking good at identifying what they can abuse to the absolute maximum faster than the average player, right? And whether it's a support ult charge, whether it's a certain combo, whether it's a team up, whether it's a coordinated dive, whatever it is, you are so good at figuring out what is broken and going hard on it before anyone else can. And the difference between other pro teams sometimes is, one, how fast they can identify how good they are at it, right? And like, that's how scrims have kind of even come together, right? It's like when a whole patch changes, everyone has an idea of like, okay, like this is probably what the meta is going to be. And then you scrim a bunch of other teams, and one team pretty much shit stomps everyone else on one like set, and you go, oh shit, like what they're running is actually really strong. Let's try that. And then they start trying. They go, oh shit, I can see why this is strong. And so everyone starts scrimming each other, right, on the new comp, and starts getting good at the new comp. And one of two things happens. One, like another team goes, oh, I think we can beat that with this. And then they try it, and they do. Or everyone starts working on that other comp and everyone starts mirroring it. And that's how you get these mirror metas, right? Like, am I on the right track with how a lot of this works? So, okay. Yeah. So now you might be wondering, like, why is that relevant? Unfortunately, those pro players will talk about what things are really strong or really broken early, right? The average casual player will not believe it because they haven't run into it yet. And so if you listen to these pros and say, hey, Luna's broken for XYZ reason, and then Luna gets nerfed, casual player number 2 goes, Luna was not broken. Luna was very good. You're taking that fun away from me. These pro players are ruining my game, and they will turn against you very quickly. And my genuine hope is that all of us are pissed off for the next year. I think that is best case scenario. I hope no one gets listened to. I hope they go hard listening to every casual player. I want them to burn that shit to the ground. And what I mean by burn shit to the ground is not like ruin the game. I want it to be exactly this realm of paradise that people believe will actually happen, which is if you listen to casual players, the game will be great. And then you'll find out in a year from now, that's not going to actually be the truth. But I want to see it happen because we could potentially be wrong. And I would love to see every time they say something like this, like support's too weak, right? Or whatever reason, like they give you a million buffs and make it extremely strong, right? And then when tank starts suffering, give them a million buffs, right? Like do the opposite of every streamer and every pro player, because you know what though, the pros will always adapt, the streamers will always adapt. We can figure it the fuck out, even if that shit is broken as fuck and we have to bang our heads against the wall. You will still figure out a way to play it and play against it. We will figure out a way to make content or to play with it or play against it. And in the long term, we will adapt. In the short term, we will adapt. In the long term, it's not going to be fun. But I'm so weirded out by like this whole the us versus them narrative that is developed as like almost like an underground syndicate. And it's like, fuck it, let's try it your way. I'm actually down. Like, let's do it. I'm in. And so that's been my Rivals approach for so long. Is I want to see that reality. Let's make it. Let's make it a reality, because I think if it was that simple, we would have done it years ago. But there's a reason why we didn't do it years ago, because it isn't real. It's not the truth. Like there's not some conspiracy. Like they just like gamers, streamers, pro players are all just players. They're gamers. Like they experience the same things you do, just maybe a little quicker. You don't believe it because they're ahead of you. And so you think that there's something against you. And so fuck it. Like if you want to, let's leave shit meta for 6 months. Because like, yeah, we'll start complaining after like 3 weeks that it's meta. It takes them 6 months to catch up. Fuck it. Wait 6 months before you change it. Let them experience it. Let them catch up. Let them figure it out. And maybe that's cynical, but I don't know. It's not just in the Rivals, by the way. It's like every game. I've seen that this has become like a new hive mind mentality. And maybe it's also partly because as streamers and pro players, like we live a very privileged life, right? Like everyone always, like people dream to quote unquote get to play video games all day long. And they probably look at these people and they go, well, you're complaining about a video game that you get to play every day as a job. Meanwhile, I have to go to my fucking shitty 9 to 5, and it sucks because I've done that. It's ass. Yeah, the oil rig. But no, it's not even the oil rig. It's more like fucking retail. That's 10 times worse than fucking. That's not like honestly, like physical labor wise, worse. Yes, but like, dude, you know how much worse, how bad it is fucking dealing with like 6 Karens a day. Like I want to fucking. Yeah. You know what exactly what I was gonna probably say, but like. Regardless though, right? Like they probably look at a lot of these things and go, they're not only ruining my fun, but then they get to get paid on it and they do all these things, like fuck these people. And it's like, that's not actually the reality, but it's like the perception of reality that they have. And so like, I'm fuck it. I'm in. Let's do whatever you want. I'm in. I'm here for the ride. Like I'm here as a spectator.
While great in theory, I think the problem with that is that an ideology like this, like the us versus them, it's unfalsifiable in that it can't be proven wrong. So as you'll have learned this from real life, but even Overwatch, another example Bogur alluded to earlier, half of set of people say like the competitive players ruin Overwatch, half people say casual. None of it is grounded in truth.
Wait, no. Let me correct. 1/3 says competitive, 1/3 says casuals, and 1/3 says the streamers killed gaming, including Rivals, including Fortnite. Ninja killed Fortnite. Necros killed Rivals.
Oh my god, I saw that one.
Well, this is the thing, that none of it is really reflective of reality, right? It's just a belief system being expressed. So even if you gave people exactly what they want, they would turn around a year, a month later and be like, well, this isn't actually, no, that's not what I said. I actually wanted this. You said, no, you're listening to the wrong thing. Like that other guy said this, but I didn't say this. I actually wanted this. It can never be allowed to backfire because it's not about any objective reality. It's about a feeling. And the feeling is I want a game that I like. And so if anything that doesn't match that is automatically like, oh, well, someone else is to blame. Now I'm going to let Aramori get a chance to chime in if there's anything you felt like, listening to Flats talk, if there's anything you wanted to say, and then we'll bring it back to me. Go ahead, Aramori.
I just wanted to make a small point of like Marvel Rivals is still a very new game, right? And maybe I made this point last time I was on the podcast, but there are some heroes where we're like, that hero sucks. Like nobody's gonna play that hero. That character's dog, right? And then all it takes is one guy to figure it out, and then everybody goes, that character's pretty good. And then it changes the game completely. Like Wolverine, when the game first came out, everyone was like, that character sucks. Dog shit. One guy figured it out, and it destroyed everybody's what we thought was good, right? Like Wolverine.
Scarlet Witch meta when, Aramori?
I don't know. I mean, right now, the thought is that Strange is not good enough for Witch, right? But I don't know. Maybe she will be good enough. Maybe they make a slight Strange tweak, slight Strange buff, and then it becomes everywhere, right?
Maybe.
But anyways, the game is not figured out enough, I don't think, to balance it. Like, I think you can make slight changes, but I don't think it's at the stage that Overwatch is at, where it's like it's pretty much figured out. Like people know what's good. Like everything's figured out. With new heroes being added as quickly as they're being added in Rivals, and the cast just being so big, I think we are still figuring things out like as we go. Like I mean, I know Human Torch got buffed on this patch, but I even said last time I was on this podcast, like Human Torch sucks. That character's awful. And then I got rolled in scrims by Human Torch, and we were like, hold on, hold on, guys. So like, we gotta figure this out, right? And we did, but it was like that flipped us on our heads. We did not expect Human Torch to do that. And again, maybe that will take time to trickle down to the casual audience, but I don't think it's as like black and white of like, oh, we have to balance for the pros, or oh, we have to balance for the casuals. I think right now nobody has it figured out 100%. And I think meta will change over time. Oh, okay. I think meta will change over time on its own. And we saw that in season 0 and season 1, and I think we will even see it again in season 2.
Can I be like brutally honest here? I think outside of Emma right now, and Emma and Groot, I think Tank is fucking boring. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's bad or anything.
Actually, so real.
Actually, just genuinely, I've been thinking
Emma's
about
so
it.
Fun.
Zoning. I think Emma is giga fun. Groot is whatever, and then Captain America and Venom just run around and do nothing. And then Strange is gutted. Magneto is spectating. And then what else do we have? Penny Parker is actual ass. It's actually just, I feel like outside of 2 or 3 characters, it's so boring right now. Like Strange was so fun, and they just broke his kneecaps for no reason. I don't even know why, right? Like he's just so unfun now to play. And I just feel like it's kind of ass, right? Like if you don't play Cap, like Flats even agrees, if you don't play these characters, and even if you do, bro, I don't fucking want to run around and do nothing. I want to kill stuff. I want to be fucking silly, goofy little guy, right? And be like aura maxing. I want to spectate on Magneto. Magneto just feels like a spectator right now. It's actually so bad. And yeah. But if there was no Emma right now, I think I would be really miserable playing tank. Just straight up. I think I would be super bored.
Well, we can get to Emma in a second. Let's sort of round up the sort of whole initial topic of like the comp changes and the effect they had on the support strike. I want to drop my rant, but of course I want to let anyone else chime in before they, if there's any unexpressed sentiments. Go ahead on this whole issue.
No, please.
Okay, because mine's
Strange's kneecaps back.
Yeah, give him one kneecap. One kneecap. All I'm asking for, please.
Give him a knee replacement.
One
knee replacement. Yeah, I mean, so mine is a little bit adjacent because I think you guys have done a great job touching on like how these things manifest in the game. I kind of, again, I think it's my perspective is a little bit always outside looking in, right? And Flats was talking about like, well, there's a lot of people who are going to be watching who are maybe not so hardcore, who are like, what the fuck is this? I don't want to be a part of it. That's me. Basically, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And a lot of the times when I look at these issues in gaming, I kind of come away with that sentiment. We're like, man, I'm really glad I'm not making hyper like involved gaming content anymore because this shit is so stupid. And for me, I think the conversation I wish the community would have is around the sort of parasitic content around gaming, like the parasitic ecosystem that exists around gaming content. What I mean by that is that you have like your first hand creation, right? So you have the game, and then you have the people who are actually making direct content about the game, right? So you have the people who are playing the game, Twitch streamers, YouTube guide makers, whatever, TikTokers, whatever, the people who are making tangible content on the game. But then around them, there's a parasitic ecosystem of people who are simply trying to make content off of other people's content, right? And what I mean by this is like Twitter accounts who are like quote unquote news accounts.
Oh my god.
Or like Jake Sucky, or like, you know, these like Dexerto.
One millisecond.
Yeah.
One millisecond there. There's this account that keeps non-stop posting Necros clips. It is actually just so... I'm actually just losing my mind. I click on Twitter and all he's been doing is posting Necro. Does he live in Necro's stream? Like what? Like it's actually insane. And it's just all he's been doing. Necros gets rolled by support. Necros says this about support. The support players killed Necros. Necros is being held hostage.
I thought it would be a positive thing. It's not a positive thing.
No. He's just non-stop.
Actual #1 hate watcher.
It's crazy.
That's why you need to run more ads.
He runs so many ads.
He's prime subbed. He's prime subbed. Don't worry, that guy's covered.
Fuck.
He's subbed to hate. He's subbed to hate.
So that's kind of the point, is that there's this ecosystem of people whose job, or like not even job sometimes, but they is their revenue off Twitter, right? Is like they live to take things in the worst context possible, right? So they'll take like a thing that a streamer said, sometimes in the heat of moment, sometimes like Necros, maybe he actually just means it, but they'll take something a streamer said and they'll like blast it as quote unquote news or some sort of drama thing to be discussed, right? So like Shroud says that this game sucks, or like, you know, Bogur said that everyone who plays this hero is ass, and like maybe Bogur says it in like a heat of a moment, right? Like every one of us has been in a game where you're really worked up and you're like, fuck this character, like I hate this character, like delete this character, right? And then of course there's this ecosystem of people who live to just share all these clips from content creators simply with the one simple goal of like engagement and anger, right? And I saw this actually, so you guys have discussed it in the support strike content. I actually saw this yesterday with Overwatch as well. Dexerto made like a tweet that was like, oh, Mercy players say that they are oppressed.
Yeah.
Because hero bans are targeting them specifically. And this is, again, to go back to that, this is a grift, right? This is all done in bad faith because they know what they're doing. They know they don't actually believe what they're saying. Their job is simply to create drama and create problems. Because unfortunately, people don't have a good bullshit meter. Like, me reading that, you only have to read the headline to be like, this is bullshit. Like, something smells off about this. This is not obviously grounded in reality. And anybody who has that sense will be like, yeah, well, 10 people on Reddit crying about, like, I'm oppressed because I'm a Mercy main. Like, that's not representative of Mercy mains. That's not what the headline says. Like, Mercy mains say they're oppressed. And, of course, the use of inflammatory language is, like, oppressed. Genuinely... It's
not the bans, it's the oppression.
It's there. Exactly. It's there to try and make people mad. And so because people, unfortunately, will not... There's no way for us to make people develop that bullshit meter, right? People will read that and they'll get riled up. You have to point the finger at these parasites, right? These news accounts, these journalism accounts, because they are very much aware of what they're doing, right? The people who get mad can't be upset at them because they don't know any better. These journalists know better. They know exactly what they're doing. They're phrasing this purely maliciously, purely to get 10 more clicks on Twitter. And I kind of just want to say to them, like, I have a message for them, which is just like, A, fuck you. But B, is this really what you, like, wanted to do with your life? Like, when you were 10... and you were like a bright-eyed child, and you were like, I want to make the world a better place. Like, I think everyone does. Everyone's like, I want to have a positive impact on the world. What'll I do? I'll be a journalist. I'll make hard-hitting stories, and I'll bring the truth. And in the pursuit of truth, I will make the world a better place. Is this what you wanted to do? If you went back to your 10-year-old self now, and you were like, yeah, what I do is I publish clickbait, engagement, rage-baiting articles on Dexerto and then tweet about it in the most inflammatory way possible. Is that what you want to do? Is that what you wanted to do with your life? Is that the contribution you want to make to the world in an era of like polarization when like in every sphere of life, people are madder than fucking ever. The world is a fucking horrible place when you look around, and we're trying to like every social media is trying to divide people as much as possible. And then we have this frontier of gaming, which is supposed to be a hobby, which is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a chance for people to like step away from the anger and hatred outside and for like an hour or two in their day, just like enjoy their life. And you're like, you know what we need to do? We need to bring polarization into gaming. We need to get people to be like tribalistic and divide each other in gaming. How can we channel the hatred that's destroying the world and bring it to a hobby and ruin that too, just so I can get 10 more fucking clicks on Twitter and get $5 of engagement ad revenue from the Twitter payout.
$5, bro. You get like
Twitter's so bad.
$20
That's
a month max, bro.
And like
How
that's
much
your
are people
contribution.
making?
That's your contribution to society. Like fucking look at yourself. I hope you're fucking ashamed of yourself. I hope you cry to sleep because your fucking contribution to society is to make it a worse place, and that's what you're doing. Like, I'm not even going to buy the whole, like, oh, well, you got to get your paycheck, you got to do your job. This is the job you fucking chose. Look at yourself in the fucking mirror if this is what you decided your contribution in life is going to be. So that's where I've been bottling up. Because I've just been watching this from the outside, and I'm just like, fuck these people, man. Fuck these
Go
people.
off, King.
Fuck these people.
Real.
Because this, I think this is how these problems start, right?
Like
yeah, go ahead.
You technically... No, because like I wanted to just say on your thing, do you technically feel the same way about like the TikTok people who do the same thing? Because like that is a trend, right?
I think
like,
it's watches TikTok.
I literally have not engaged with TikTok in I don't know how long. So I have
like,
no clue.
What about people that are like not journalists, right? Like they're just like average.
Oh, fuck
person
them
who pick up
too.
their phone and okay, because there's a lot of that too. Yeah.
No, fuck them too. I mean, they're just doing it on like they're just doing it desperately because they're like, I want to be notable, right? Like they just want to get Twitter things. Whereas like the journalists are doing it like professionally. It's like their job to fucking bait people. And that is like super contempt, but like fuck the people who are just like some random Twitter nobody who's like, I'm going to get some impressions by trying to take this person out of context and like create as much rage as I can. Like fuck those guys too. But I think the journalists hold a higher responsibility.
Some people just enjoy it. They just like it. They just like to cause problems on purpose.
They like the number going up. The number going up.
This really is the number going up though, because like it gets more attraction. It gets
they don't even get paid, bro. They don't even get money from it.
Well, and there's a whole thing about that. Like we all understand it as content creators. That like, yeah, there's a dopamine hit when your number goes up. Like we all understand the allure of like, oh shit, this content's doing better. But again, that's why I hold the journalists to a higher standard, because it's like when that's your job, you know that that's how it works, but you have to like have an integrity about what you're putting out, right? Like Flats, Bogur, Aramori, you guys all know, like you put out a YouTube video, people are gonna interpret it in a certain way, and you choose to title a YouTube video in a certain way. You could do it in a way that you know would get more clicks, but would be misrepresentative or piss people off, and you guys don't, because you know, like, I have a responsibility to like not cause shit. And this kind of goes back to what you were talking about earlier, Flats, with like Necros, right? Like maybe that's something he's learning of like, I can't necessarily put it out in this way because it's not accurate and it's gonna make people mad for no reason, and I shouldn't do that because that's the platform I have. So yeah, I wish if there's one, I know we struggle to come together collectively on anything. If there's one thing we could come together collectively on, I hope it's to like, just a middle finger to these like entities, to completely ignore them. Don't fucking engage with them. Don't retweet them. If you're gonna like yell at them, do it with a screenshot, not like with a quote retweet, just so they don't get the fucking $2 that they wanted. Don't even give them the $2 fucking. Let them rot in hell.
They don't even make $2, bro. They don't even make $1 from a post, bro. That makes sense.
That's why I think they did the TikTok one. The TikTok one, because you'll get money. You get money from the revenue thing, like the creator fund, and that's like way more lucrative. That's why it happens more often. And to your point, SPB, you know what's funny? I've dealt with this problem for years with Overwatch, right? Like if Overwatch was on the downhill slide, like I'm not gonna pretend it wasn't, but those videos would always do significantly better than saying like, oh, this is doing well, right? Which is really unfortunate, because like if you're trying to stay true and like always like go in between, like, okay, this is good or this is bad, this is good and this is bad, you learn that this is bad gets way more attention, way more clicks, right? And so for these people that are just learning, or if that's all they care about, right? Like if all you care about is the number going up, you're going to hard lean into that, right? And that's what's kind of happened in this one case, but it happens in all cases, right? Like Overwatch is a good example where, you know, you make the Dextero tweet, like you make any tweet negative Overwatch, boom, 10K likes easily or more. In the case with this current situation, it's like, you know, you make video or you make things say, fuck Necros, he smells like poo. Like you're boom, 10,000 upvotes, or you get 100,000 views on your TikTok, right? 100,000 views on a TikTok is what, like it's decent money. It's like $20, $50, something like that. Like depending on what it is. Like, it's like you just keep doing that over and over, and all of a sudden, like you get a couple of videos that pop off, get a couple 100,000 views, like boom, that's like $400 in your pocket. $400 is a lot of money for a lot of people. And what happens to you, right? Like there's no accountability at the end of the day. Like real talk, like they're just kind of like nobody at that point, right? Like if they just never make a video again, like they go back and doing their 9 to 5 or whatever. But they probably did irreversible damage to someone's image or to whatever person's thing. Like you were talking about, like with the Twitter person, Bogur. Like if they're just making tweets all day, I guarantee there's people that see those clips or like dying to support or whatever it might be. Like those are things that people will always now remember and reference endlessly, and nothing will ever happen to the person who does that to them, right? And so I don't know but that one though, it's like that one isn't having as much mainstream support as say like fuck institutions, right? Like people say like fuck news networks or fuck like journalists or whatever, because like again other shit leaks into it. But that's the reason why I asked you that, SVP, is because I kind of with you on that. Was like, fuck them too. It's like, yeah, fuck them too. Like nobody ever holds them accountable. Like, and if you do hold them accountable, like they cry, they lose it. It happened in Overwatch. Remember that thing that happened to Jay?
Yeah, exactly.
Like when everyone went after Jay, first off, that person was completely wrong, and then people said, hey, you were wrong. Like you weren't even, what you said wasn't even true. And then they tried to hide behind like, I'm just a small account. Like, motherfucker, you saw that you had 101.6 million views on that tweet with 32,000 likes, and you're responding to every hate comment. Like, let's not pretend. Like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, come on now, let's be grounded in reality here. And so you can't even say anything back. You know what I mean? So those people too. But that's like, how do you stop that? Can you even? Like, I don't think you can. So like,
no,
what do you even do?
It just happens. Like you can't do anything. It's always been like this. It's been like before with actors and just having news outlets like farming rage bait on back in the day, and now with content creators and actors. And I mean, it's just inevitable. You can't do anything. What are you gonna do? 1984, you know, like you just can't. It's just impossible.
Well, yeah, when you're like a big name and it's like anyone could say anything about you, right? And that's I think you have to like a reality you have to accept. Like some guy can be like, I ran into SVB at the local chippy and he was mean.
He shot my dog.
And he was mean. And like, what are you gonna do? Can you like go and search like every forum ever to be like, what are the people saying about me? Because that would drive you mad. Like you would go insane if you saw.
Don't do that in the future. No,
exactly.
Never do that. It's like, a bad idea.
It would just drive you insane, right? So like you have to like live knowing that there's people out there who can say whatever you want about you, and unfortunately that's
inevitable.
The reality of being a content creator.
It's just we're facing 1% of what many popular actors and stuff had to deal with and still have to deal with. Musicians, it's like you went for a drink. Oh, is this guy dating this person now? Is he gay? Is he this? Is he that? Is he exploding? Did he kick a puppy on the way to the store? Did he eat a person alive?
Well, speaking on the like us versus them, the flats, I know we're kind of tangenting, but hopefully people don't mind. Hopefully this is interesting. Like speaking on the us versus them, like this is why celebrities end up removing themselves from wider society, right? That's why they end up kind of living in their own ecosystem bubble, is because if they try to interact with normal people the way other people do, then this kind of stuff happens, right? Some paparazzi is going to like catch them. Some guy's going to be like, he said this to me, blah, blah, blah. Like you're not allowed the benefit of just being a nuanced person. You're not allowed humanity. You just become like an entity. And we're already seeing that with like some of these content creators, right? Like they're not allowed humanity. They're just like, they're an influencer. They're like a thing that doesn't like ceases to be a person. And now it's just like something you can throw at. So hopefully that doesn't like completely, because go ahead.
I was just gonna say like you're right, and like, but let's be honest here, Necros deserves it. He's a Spider-Man.
Fuck Necros, obviously. Like,
fuck that guy.
That's always been the stance on this podcast.
No, but a statement like support players are boosting the heat of the moment or rage baiting. Nobody would even garner like any reaction from anybody if it wasn't like the CEO of Marvel Rivals or whatever, right? So it's just inevitable. You get famous, somebody clips you out of context, and then they're just jorking it about how much they hate you, and then everybody starts piling on and they farm more money and clicks, and they're like, yeah, go. But at the end of the day, I can promise you guys, anybody that like, I think it's once in a while, you know, you share your opinion, whatever you want. If you're not hard grifting, you want to genuinely share your opinion, whatever. I don't give a shit. But like, I genuinely ask people that do this for a living that they just grift and like clip out of context and say whatever is popular. Like, you're never gonna grow as a content creator. You're never gonna make it anywhere as a content creator. It's just like there's gonna be your niche, and the moment you want to express yourself, you're gonna be put down in your place. It's just you never, because there's an ounce of creativity in the things you do. People will not be happy if you try to deviate from this path of endlessly rage baiting and grifting. So
I mean,
if
have you heard of Grums, Bogur? Have you heard of this guy called Grums? Do you know that?
We just don't. He just doesn't stop.
Yeah,
You just keep
yeah,
going.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. You can be very
the,
successful.
The thing is, it's just on Twitter. What does he have outside of Twitter? It's nothing, right? He doesn't make money on YouTube. He doesn't make money on Twitch. He doesn't make money anywhere. Nobody gives a shit about his existence outside of Twitter circles. In the end of the day, he's going to keep grifting and grifting on Twitter, but it amounts to nothing, right? It's just like, if you keep grifting, you might start making money. You might start doing something. But like, when does it fucking stop, right? It will stop. What do you do when it stops? I mean, it stops.
Well, what I'm saying is they never have a path. As you're saying, I'm agreeing with you. They never have a path out of it. Yeah. Like they will always be that guy.
They don't have a path out of it. That's it. You are that grifter dude who keeps rage baiting and farming clicks. But you're first not making. If money is your goal, you're not making money out of it. And if your goal is to become a content creator, your ass is not becoming a content creator. Because I promise you, if Grum starts to stream, he's gonna have 10 viewers, maybe 100 maximum. It's not gonna amount to anything, right? So it's just meaningless path to take for content creation. It leads to nowhere. It's just you need an ounce of creativity and expression to actually make it. But if you just keep grifting, you're not gonna make it, bro. Nobody wants to watch you. They're gonna click on Twitter and be like, awesome, what is this guy talking about? I'm not gonna like it. Yeah, W, dude, let's go. Who cares about you? Nobody cares about your existence, bro. So it just doesn't mean anything, doesn't like amount to anything. So it's just, unless you're a professional journalist and you're farming clicks and that's your job and you're getting paid for it, even then go fuck yourself. But like, it's just meaningless as a content creation path. Even if you get a bunch of followers, all of these followers amount to nothing because nobody follows for you. They amount for you trying to talk shit about other people, which isn't you. It's just they just want to hate. So
yeah, very true. Aramori, I'll let you. Is there anything you want to yell about, or shall we get back to talking about more rivals?
Oh no, I was just saying, like, I feel like I'm nowhere near as big as you guys, so I don't have this problem.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I disagree with you. I think
you have so many haters. You've joined the club.
You had your fair share of haters online. People have been drifting, trying to be like, oh, she's boosted, she's this, she's a woman. It's like, of course you probably doubted more than
she boosted me. It's actually great.
Yeah, exactly. She's boosted me or deboosted.
Thanks for the reminder,
her, right? Yeah, my bad. That was an interesting day.
Did you not read the other guy, what he said about you, Aramori? He was the worst thing, let me tell you.
I don't know.
I feel like you've experienced it a lot more than us, even than me for sure. Because like, they're just like flaming you for existing, you know?
That's true.
Yeah, I've had people like, oh, what does she know about the game? Bro, what the fuck do you mean what she knows? Like, she's one of the best players in the game and one of the best teams in the game as well. What the fuck you mean what does she know? She knows more than any of us.
Yeah, I actually saw a clip of you talking about something like that. And then somebody was saying in your chat, like, oh, she's not going to date you, bro. And then you had to be like, what are you talking about?
Me when I talk about a woman or I agree with a woman. Oh yes, guys, I want to date her. Awesome, W.
Me
guys.
when I don't hate women. Me when I'm not yelling.
Me when I don't.
Yeah,
bro. The other side is if you talk about a woman in a positive light, you are a white knight, or they're trying to call you a simp. And I'm like, bro, I'd rather be a simp than an incel. What the fuck are you talking about? That goes with anything
at this point, though.
Yeah, it does. It does.
I mean, I do. You know what's funny? We were talking about like content and stuff like that. One of the ways everyone tries to break into content is those classic streamer react videos. And I can tell you, I can literally pinpoint whether someone will be successful or not with the way they do it. The people who will be successful and do well are the ones who make those streamer reacts and then always make it like the wow, holy shit, that guy's insane. Like not like attacking the streamers, but like kind of like holy shit, they have like respect for them, but like they respect them. And the ones that won't do well long term are the ones who try to like make it like, oh my god, they got so mad. Like, look at this guy get mad at me. I made him rage. Those people fall off. They don't ever go anywhere. It's like almost like a signal. Nobody's gonna like them. That's the you're just not nice. You're just not a good person. And so you know what's funny? You talk about that, and the reason why I'm kind of with I mean I'm with you there, but like the reason why I don't even think you should think about it. Like I don't even think you should give it like the time of day. Like, it shouldn't even keep you up at night if it does. Is because when I do like spectating or stuff like that, I always try to like show the good of like what people are doing, but like look at it in a different light. And people will always say like, oh, you're just hard glazing, you're always glazing, whatever it might be. It's like if you talk positive in any way, like they'll always find something to neg at. But if you talk negative in any way, they will take it to the extreme of like you're quote hating, right? For example, we were like I remember I still laugh about it sometimes, and talk about how you know, like Penny is like when the game came out, I was like, oh, that character's noob bait because it looks good, right? Like it heals, get over shield, mines, and like 3-second stun on cooldown looks insane. It's just noob bait. It's not actually very good. That was a widely thought of opinion from most people, but especially good players. But like some people use that as like a target of like, oh my god, like you must hate those players. You hate them. It's like, no, just said the character's not that good. Like it looks good on paper, but it's not. That's not an insane take, like to this day. But some people would use that as like a weapon. Be like, oh, like, you know, you must hate them because you said this. Like, no, that's not true at all. Like they could buff into the moon tomorrow and make it meta. I'm like, okay, now it's meta. Now that's good. I don't have any emotional investment. And so it will go both ways. No matter what you do, or what you say, if people want to disagree with you, they will find an avenue. And so in this case, the avenue was, oh, you only say the thing I disagree with. It's because you want to date her. You have an alternative motive. Oh, you said this thing that I disagree with. You must be getting paid. Like, shit. Oh, you said this thing I disagree with. You don't actually believe it. You're just grifting. It's like, no matter what happens, no matter what you do or what you say, the most important thing is if you go to bed at night and you can sleep well. As long as you can do that and you're comfortable with who you are and comfortable with what you do, you'll be fine. And so a lot of those people are just fucking stupid and they're just miserable. Like you can never win with them no matter what. Period. So don't worry about it. Like just keep doing what you're doing and you'll be fine. Don't worry about it at all.
Yeah, the best advice I ever got was as soon as like I told SK before I got signed what was gonna happen. And she was like, listen. She like grabbed me metaphorically and she was like, listen. Do not read any of the comments. And I was like, yes, ma'am. And I have not.
Yeah. Do real for that.
I live in my own little world.
Yep.
No, like for real. Like,
and people will come into that world and good people will come to you and it'll be a good thing. You know what the best part is? All of those people who do that shit, like hate threads, comment threads, whatever the fuck it is, they genuinely boost you. Like for real. Like not your in-game. You're out of game. They're boosting you, and they don't even understand it. They say you're boosted, and then they boost you. It's actually fantastic because there's gonna be people that are like, I've no idea who the fuck is this person. Yeah. And then they'll go look, and they'll be like, one or two things. Oh, she's not for me, and they'll leave. Or they'll go, oh, she's pretty cool. But like, that's 100 new people who came in the door that weren't coming in the door beforehand. And only if 20 of them stay, that's now 20 new people that enjoy you, enjoy your content, enjoy you as a player, enjoy all these other things. And they don't even understand it. Like they're genuinely too fucking stupid to realize that like the more they harp on it, the more angry they get, the better it is for you. Because the common person, the silent majority, reads these things and goes, is that actually true? The fuck? Like some people will read it and take it as face value and then move on, right? But those people won't write anything. They don't care. They genuinely don't give a fuck. The only people who actually might care are the people who are going to go, I wonder if that actually is true. And they might be late night browsing on Twitch and none of their normal streamers are on. And then they go, oh yeah, I've heard of this person. And then they click and then they watch for a while and then they form their own opinion. But beforehand, they would have never clicked. They would have never looked. And so what they don't understand, what they end up doing is their own hatred, their own nastiness actually helps you in the long term. So like, and this is going to sound psychotic. You should welcome it. You should welcome it because it's genuinely one of the best things that can happen to you.
Flat supports sexism live on stream said and admitted.
I've said this to almost everyone that I ever talked about this kind of stuff with is like, it genuinely is good for you. It genuinely is. Like, yeah, it sucks mentally and it's tough to get through, but like once enough time passes, and you become comfortable almost in it, like you understand that that's just part of the job. Like people will be like that to you and there's nothing you can do about it. And as long as you go to bed at night and you're like happy with who you are and what you do, it'll be great and it'll be fine. So like, you know, some people put it as no such thing as bad publicity. That's not how I look at it. There's definitely such thing as bad publicity. But like a lot of these people end up making themselves look like fools. They genuinely do, and they don't understand that they're so fucking dumb that they make themselves look like idiots and make you actually look really good. So, and you know what? This is actually more realized than anything is I got off easy with Overwatch. I got actually off so easy. I never had all these crazy fucking videos and shit.
Well, there you go.
Back in the day.
Is that anything you want to chime in, Aramori, or you?
No, I'm just thinking about how like you're just so nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Aramori, for being cool and SK's wife. But I have a question, guys. What do you think about support in this game?
Well, I have an actual question for you guys, which is like, let's talk about the quote unquote new hero. So you guys have all kind of alluded to her, but Emma Frost. So I'll let Aramori go first because I think you said you were the first to name drop her. Aramori as like as a hero you really like and think is hot. So. How do you feel about Marvel Rivals' new hero? And yeah, we'll go there first, and then we'll maybe talk wider about the hero releases themselves.
This is my Minecraft dog.
I love him. What's his name?
I think his name is like Dennis or something, or Dave. It had like a name on it. Yeah.
Dave the dog.
So Emma, I think she is a very, very strong character, but I also think she's not like insanely broken where if she's in the game you have to play her. I think she's fun to play, and she's not bad to play against, right? And I think that's the baseline that Rivals should go for heroes, right? Like fun to play, doesn't ruin the game for everybody else. That's perfect. I love that. Maybe my fellow tank players have a different perspective. Maybe Flats is like, every time I play Captain America, that bitch is choke slamming me and it's awful
not, okay,
and I hate it.
It's not for Captain America, but playing Hulk into Emma is impossible. I'm be real with you. It is genuinely impossible to play Hulk into Emma. She counters your entire ultimate.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she just beams you and grabs you.
No, you just save your grab. You grab him and then you kick him and then what is he gonna do? And then kick him again and then okay. GG.
Yeah. But I think she's super fun. I think all of her abilities have a little bit of like outplayability, right? Maybe it's a little bit harder for tanks to respect her diamond form grab. From B, I'm like, whoa, dude, I just back up, right? I think the drain on her beam drains really quick. It rewards good players for, micromanaging how to keep it up. Like I'll have Emma players say like, oh, don't break the Loki clones, right? Like don't break the group walls or. I think you keep charging.
Oh no, it doesn't charge him. No, it doesn't. It doesn't
keep it.
It doesn't charge up at all.
I know it doesn't charge up, but I think it like holds
it doesn't keep.
No,
it doesn't.
Okay.
I've tried.
Either way. You're like, don't break the Loki clones. Don't do whatever. Like, let me keep my charge.
Squids.
The more squids, okay. Just anything like that. It's so cool to have something like that. And I like how it's not hard to build, but it's hard to like keep, which I like. I enjoy that a lot. And yeah, she's hot. I want more lady tanks. It's awesome.
Listen, I'll be honest. I'm gonna go back to you saying people haven't figured out. I think Emma. Okay, today I keep practicing the E into diamond form, just one-shotting. I managed to kill a Magneto through Lunode.
Oh my god.
I feel like people have not really figured out how strong she can really be.
Her combos?
I think her combos go kind of crazy. I'll be honest. So you press E, then you shift into them, and then as you're hitting the diamond and him, you break it at the same time as you kick him into the wall, and he just dies instantly because it does double the damage.
Oh my god!
So every melee you do into him does double the damage because you're also hitting the diamond. Then you kick him into the wall, and when the diamond breaks, you do 25 or 20% of his max HP plus the kick damage, and it's just so fast he just dies.
So wait, you're hitting the crystal and hitting him at the same time?
Yeah. So you need to crystal, walk up, grab him, slam into the crystal, and then 1-2 combo him. It is super consistent against squishies if you actually manage to land the diamonds and save your diamond for him. Against tanks,
Oh, sorry. Something else I forgot to add about Emma is, we've complained a lot about how this is very much a dive meta. Emma is kind of like the Brig right now of Rivals, right? Her job in pro play is to just kind of like turn around, sit on her backline, and just choke slam whoever goes on them, right? So if you're struggling with an Iron Fist in ranked, ask your Emma player to choke him. That's what's going on.
Ooh, I'm gonna start playing Iron Fist.
Anyways.
So that's your kind of, is that your summary then? Aramori, you kind of hot, good skill, like, you know, we're still seeing more.
I'm really happy with her. I want them to add more heroes like her.
Yeah, I think she's a good hero. I agree with Aramori.
As I say, Bogur's already given a little bit, but do you have any more you want to add, Bogur? Maybe he's already given us too much, but yeah.
I think she's really cool. I really like her. I really like her ult too, because it adds depth to the game, because support players are starting to play around it. Because the way it works, if you don't know, if you're getting beamed, even if you're not, so it charges up, you get stunned and go towards her. But as long as you're getting beamed by her ult, you can't press your ultimate. So what Emma players started doing is they just started beaming the supports, so they can't ult, and then you wipe them because they can't use their support ult, or you combo it with Psylocke or something. But now support players are playing around that, so they're just jiggle peeking or playing behind the wall, so they can press Q and then go back in. So I think it's just good. And the diamond is really hard to hit, and the diamond form is nice because that's even a little bit of verticality, and then maintaining your beam is really cool, and just grabbing people is cool. I think it's a really cool character. I'm really happy with Emma. I think they really cooked. I think, I'll be honest with you, I think in ranked, I maybe, once people even start getting better and better at her, I think she might be a little bit overtuned compared to other stuff. I think she really shuts down most tanks. Yeah, I think she shuts down most tanks in the game. She definitely shuts down Strange. Strange cannot play the game against her. Hulk cannot play the game against her. Honestly, every tank in the game just feels like paper compared to her. Like, you cannot take a 1v1 against Emma with any tank, right? Maybe Groot, but I always ban him, so I don't know how that works. I never play against Groot. He's always perma-banned for me, so I don't know how that matchup works. But against the Thing, he can't do anything. Again, because the beam and the crystal that does max HP as damage. Magneto can't do anything against you, because even when he ults, you can beam through his ult. Strange is useless. Captain America, one of the few characters that can actually do something is Emma, because you can grab him no matter what. Venom actually feels really bad against her, because you can grab. Hulk is really bad, as I said. It's just, I feel like she's kind of, in a way, kind of like Mauga, because she genuinely kind of counters every tank in the game, and every tank compared to her feels really bad and boring.
Except in this scenario, the Malga is the boring one. But yeah, in this case, Emma's the
fun
one.
But Emma is really fun, of course, but it just makes every other tank really boring.
Mm-hmm. Flats, did you kind of feel the same way? Is it Emma or nothing?
Yeah, if I'm on the other tank duty, it just feels like jail.
Yeah.
Feels like me and Bogur played the other day. I let him play the Emma, so I was just putting the mag in the bag.
Just put the mags in the bag, or get bullied by Emma on the hull.
Because they ban Cap sometimes, so I don't have nothing to do. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just play mag. I'll sit there and I'll bubble.
And you guys ban Groot?
Yeah, we always Groot there.
Oh, because usually it's like Emma Groot, and then, you know, like Groot's okay.
Yeah.
You have your own like agency Groot. With walls.
I hate Groot so much. It just changes the game so fundamentally. And
mag is so hard.
And then you rely on your DPS to break walls and shoot, and they won't break walls, and it's just like, okay, I'm just like, fuck this, I'm not playing, I'm not dealing with this. I actually had an argument with somebody because they're like, why don't you just learn Groot instead of banning? It's like, motherfucker, I want to play this character, I want to learn him, I want to play against him. Like, fuck off. What the fuck? I mean, like, just get him out of this game. And then we didn't ban Groot, and we lost the game. So I was like, fuck, I'm never not banning Groot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole story. Flats, anything else you want to add about the state of Emma?
I mean, she's fun. Like, I think she's really cool. But I just haven't personally wanted to play this much of this season. So I'm not, I guess, as experienced as Bogur in that department of, like, you know, what people are doing. So I don't want to speak on that too much, but it definitely did feel like that a little bit. Like, for example, we have a Namor and they're begging for the team up. Like, I'm forced to play Hulk for that.
Oh my god,
like,
so
come on, play Hulk. I literally can't do anything. Like, I can't play the game. Like, I'm spectating and it's ass. And I think I played the other day with Aramori and SK, and we had a Namor player on our team. He was Namor only, and I was just like crying in the corner.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, and I remember saying to you guys, like, I don't think I'm gonna play. He's like, oh, Hulk should be fine here, and I'm like, yeah, but like their Emma is just sitting there waiting for me every time. I can't. I literally spectated. And I lost like 28 points. I literally lost like 28 points. It was
because you can't even get kills on Hog, so you just lose so many points. Yeah, I think when Emma is banned in the game feels really different. Like for tanks, it feels like it opens up a lot more for your tanks that you can play. But with Emma open, it's just impossible. Also, my stream just is dying right now, but it's gonna come back.
Okay. So is that healthy then? Like, obviously Emma herself is fun, but is the impact she's having on the rest of the game, is that sustainable? Is that good?
It might be like the Reinhardt problem of like Overwatch, where like, Reinhardt was one of the first tanks. He's not necessarily bad, but then you compare him to like other tanks that came out later, and he just kind of struggles. Maybe we're seeing the beginning of that.
I think maybe in a way. Maybe what is the solution? Do you buff other tanks, but then it's just like because Emma is really fun, but then imagine a Giga buffed like Magneto running around, or like more buffs to Captain America. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe just
they did nerf a lot of tanks in the last 2 patches though. Like Strange, Mag.
Yeah, they did.
1,000
nerfs to Strange. Oh, Emma's too strong. Nerf Strange again.
Hulk got banned or nerfed a lot, then got rebuffed.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as good.
No, Hulk is fine if Emma is not open, I think. I'll be honest.
Yeah, but I'm saying like he's not as good as like when he was like in the beginning, like when the game.
No, I mean Strange is so much worse than the beginning.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying,
probably
like,
knows.
Across the board though, there's been a lot of tank nerfs. That's why. That's all I'm saying.
Strange was so broken back in the day. It was so funny. But I think. What do you think about the Emma Frost's sexualization? She's quite the character. She has quite the assets.
Okay,
right?
Well, this
so
is
what do you think about that?
This is the whole thing. I was like wondering where I was like, should I bring this up? And I was like,
I'll bring it up.
We've already ranted for like an hour about other stuff, but maybe I'll save this for another podcast. But okay.
No, I brought it up.
Well, let's
the
talk.
can of worms is open.
Yeah, the can of worms is open.
Aramori first.
Yes, I was going to say. First. Let me establish the question, and then we'll take it to Aramori first. So not just Emma Frost, but there has been a wider conversation in and around Marvel Rivals and in gaming that Marvel Rivals is for the Gooners. That it's a game where all the skins hypersexualize, particularly the female characters, and like in a way that seems gratuitous. So that's the wider discussion. Aramori, do you feel like the skins and the presentations of the characters, the jiggle physics, the proportions, are they?
She has jiggle physics on her thighs.
Yeah. Is it? I have seen that. Yeah, I saw the whole discussion. So do you think it's
funny.
Well, what do you think about it in general? Do you think it's good, bad, gratuitous, fine?
So I maybe feel like the worst person to like speak on this because I love women so much. But I see like both sides of the argument where it's like, oh well, we're supposed to have more women in gaming, but then like it's just crazy like over sexualization of women. It might make some women uncomfortable. Like who wants to play the game where their gender is just like way over sexualized? And then there's a lot of girls that are like, this is awesome. Like this is great. So I don't know. It's such like a weird conversation. I think what they can actually do, and the route that I would like them to take is, they tease like a swimsuit like skin like event coming up for like summer, I'm sure. I would love for them to just like do the same thing to the male characters. I think that would be awesome.
Have you seen Venom's boats? Like, let's be real here.
I mean, they give him a literal twerking emote. Like, he's literally throwing it back.
Yeah, but he's non-human, Like, if they did the same thing to like, I don't know, throw Bucky in a Speedo. I don't know. They could definitely do it to where it's like,
Type
equal.
1 if
like,
you buy Bucky in a Speedo skin. Type 1 if you buy Bucky in a Speedo. But I'm interested to see the beach skins. Those will be fun.
See, I am really interested to hear your thoughts. It is complicated. I have a take as well, but I'm curious about your take, Aramori, and then Flats and Bogur as well.
Somebody said like imagine they give Venom a bathing suit skin and it just has him put on like bathing suit shorts. It's just like they add clothing to him. But yeah, I do think like I I don't think they've already crossed the threshold of they're doing this. Like, it's very evident that they're making skins for the Gooner population, right? Like, I don't think they can take it back necessarily. I do think they can, like, just make it so it's everybody in the game has kind of like some frivolous skins. I think that's the direction that I would say like Final Fantasy went. Like, you know, Final Fantasy 14, the cosmetic system, both male and female, is exactly the same for gear and such. So if there's like a skimpy outfit for the women, it's a skimpy outfit for the men as well. Like, and I think that's totally fine, right? But I don't think there's a way to like necessarily take it back. I don't know if it's super healthy for women in gaming. I have no idea. But I'm a fan, so that's my thought process.
That's fair. Flats, you want to go next? You want me to go next? What do you want to do?
I don't know. Do you want me to go next?
I mean, I have things. I have things I know I want to say. So it's like, is there something you want to say?
I think the term Gooner just lost all meaning at this point. I think
that's true.
It's gotten completely twisted to a term of like anyone who looks attractive. Like that's pretty much it. If you like, and I think it's spiraled out of control so much. And a lot of that I think is because like we are shifting very heavily as an entire society on a lot of things the last like couple of years. And I think more people are open to the idea that like people like looking at attractive people. That's just really it. And like superheroes are going to be in shape. They're going to be attractive people. Like that's just kind of how it is. Unless like they have a superpower that has something to do with like them not like something that like plays into it. And so it makes sense in a lot of ways like for something like Marvel. Yeah. It makes sense for something like that. And on top of that too, like a lot of the stuff that they pull is like from their comics. So a lot of things people can look at and be like, hey, like, you know, this is like lore. Like this is stuff that has existed for years and like they're just pulling from that. And so everyone I think is just kind of like up in arms and like over the possibility that people are like upset over it. But it's like, you know, other than just like I'd like to see men have it too. Like I don't think there's like almost anything really wrong with it in a lot of ways. It's like if people are actually like if someone like genuinely wants to put the game down because of that, like that's okay. Like that is their right. But I don't think that in this case, like those small percentage of people like that probably wasn't for them anyways. And that's not to take it away from them. Like this genre of superhero, like of the whole MCU has had this for forever. And it's like yeah, if you want to have it for both, that's totally fine. But like if it's something that you feel strongly enough to put the game down over, that's okay too. Like that doesn't make you like soft or make you a bad person. But I don't think it also makes it like anyone who enjoys those types of things are like, you know, sometimes just funny. Like it's genuinely just funny. Like you shouldn't take that away either. And I think that like as an entire society, we've had like this like
Boger's
radical like shift.
I'm sorry, so many times something so stupid in chat. I'm sorry, Flats. That's why.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I get that too sometimes. But just like I don't think it's something that's gonna be a big problem. Like obviously if you go all the way on one side, right, where it's like you just hypersexualize all the women characters and not like the male characters, like people are gonna be upset over that. But it's like as if everyone's getting it, like that's just kind of how superheroes are. Like they're gonna be attractive people, and there's nothing wrong with I think looking at attractive people and wanting to look at attractive skins. Like if they want to buy it, and that's what sells. Like unfortunately, like that's kind of the reality we live in. Like sex sells in a lot of ways, and those things will always get more attention. And I'm not saying that that's the way it should always be, but like, you know, if you're a game and you're a company and you're like, hey, you know, like this is what the majority of people want and like they're okay with it, and there's a very, very, very small minority that isn't, who should they listen to and who should they go towards? Like you know, I think that the writing's kind of on the wall on that one, and there's ways to do it, I think, where everyone can be happy, and I think they could do that. But I do think that it also gets like kind of blown out of proportion with like the whole Gooner thing. Like I think the Gooner thing is just so it's genuinely just cringe. Like in my opinion, like everything is Gooner, everything is like I don't like obviously there's certain like you can look at things like okay, like you ever watch some of the trailers or like those videos for like some of like the Hoyoverse games where like they like zoom in on like that like zoom in on the toes and it's like okay like
oh
hey,
my
like, what
God.
the fuck are you doing over there?
Some
Right?
gacha games are crazy.
There was
okay,
one.
like,
okay, listen.
that's
I want
different.
listen.
That's
There
what
was
it is. That's
there
what it
was
actually is.
there was a GIF of a girl's ass from one gacha games. I'm sure many
I've
people
seen that. Yeah.
that one is fucking crazy. That is crazy. There's no way they co-rivals Gooner.
I have a rant. I mean, yeah. Settle down, a man's talking now. A man's going to give his opinion on this issue. So, I mean, I think like with everything, this is really like a nuanced thing. And as Flat says, things get blown out of proportion. You can't expect the internet to have any sort of logical discussion or thing like this. There needs to be a wider cultural conversation, I think, because it's not things don't happen in a vacuum, right? It's not that Marvel Rivals are releasing skins in a vacuum. There's like a wider cultural situation where we're kind of grappling this with the society in general, where it's like society's always getting more open to sex and right, like you can look at any timeline, right, where it's like in the 40s and 50s, jazz was considered like provocative music because it was like, oh, they're really sexualizing stuff, and it
Women
gets people
showing their ankles.
Yeah, and it gets people dancing like this is not right. To now where we have like music that's like, you know, people be dropping all kinds of sexual shit going on, right? So like we progress society, we talk more about sex. There is a counter movement as well. Like we're seeing that like Gen Z are in some ways more, what's the word I'm looking for? Prudish. Like they're more conservative about many things, but also sex. Like they're a little bit more skittish, where like maybe the generations that came before, like millennials and stuff were Puritan is a good word. Like whereas millennials were perhaps a bit more like laissez-faire, they're a bit more liberal. And then it comes within the context of like gaming's conversations too, because gaming has been having like a really toxic conversation around presentations of women, right? Like gaming has been like, you look at like the Grums, the Asmongols, they're sitting in this context where they're kind of advocating that any woman who isn't, you know, busty, blonde, and like hourglass figure is like woke agenda being pushed on us, right? Like you look at the release of like any protagonist in a game who's like a woman, you'll get like the grifters again. The grifters, I think this is an accurate use of the term. The grifters who are like, oh, look, the woke mob just want to shove this ugly woman down your face. Why can't we have, you know, anime titty women all the time? So there's like that's another piece of context we have to add where it's like, this is really harmful just in general to like ideas of like how we view gender and how we view like sexuality, right? So within that context, I think the biggest thing you could criticize Marvel Rivals for is that it feels like the skins are from the male gaze. And I think that's where you could criticize them. I don't think it's inherently wrong at all to have sexualized characters. And once more, Overwatch is actually a really good example because Overwatch has loads of sexy skins. I don't know what the Marvel Rivals dev team is like, but I do know the Overwatch dev team is very diverse, right? It's got a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds. And the reasons that's good is not just out of some arbitrary, like, I believe DEI, whatever, I know what people are going to say. It's not out of an arbitrary reason to just have a diverse development team. It's that when you have a diverse development team, you can get really nuanced inputs about like what a person like this would be like, right? Like, oh, what would a Filipino person look like if they had this kind of background, or like what features might this kind of person, right? What would women find appealing in this skin? Like if you know, because with Marvel Rival skins, as Aramori is saying, there's plenty of women who think that they're hot and great and empowering. That is the reality. There's like a large section of women who love the skin, so you can't say inherently that like all women think it's goonery and all men love it because they want to jerk off to it. There's a lot of people who find that empowering, but then you also can't deny that like character after character is just the meme is like the snow bunny, right? Like a white woman with like a certain figure, big tits, like blue eyes. You can't deny that they're kind of leaning down a certain path that feels like it was designed by men for men. Right, in a way that a lot of Overwatch characters are not. With a lot of Overwatch characters, we know that there are like people of different sexualities, different gender, different backgrounds, different all kinds of things. And so that creates a rounded character. The end result is that you create a more rounded character. Whereas when you have, again, the male gaze results in characters who are very one-dimensional in that they just look a certain way and they kind of behave a certain way. And so I think the biggest thing you could criticize Marvel Rivals for is to me, again, the outside looking in, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. It looks like they've just designed the skins without a lot of like female involvement. Like, it doesn't feel like there was a lot of like female devs being like, I don't know about this one. Like, can we do it? Like, let's make it sexy like this. Like, what about this? Like, this would make it more cool.
I actually think the new Overwatch Battle Pass or season where it's like it's Doki Watch, right? The whole like magical girl.
Yeah.
That's like female gaze, like I don't know.
So good.
They're so good. It's so cute. That's definitely like female gaze, and I think Valorant did something similar with some of their gun skins where they released like a magical girl. There was like little like animals on them. I don't know Valorant at all, right? But I know that stuff sells like crazy, and I think we'll see Rivals get to that point. But I think right now, I think you're right. I think they are kind of selling towards the male gaze. And I mean, hasn't like just Marvel in general just kind of done that for like a really long time?
Yeah, and this is where I want to add is like I respectfully disagree with Flats on this one because I think that like the comic book justification that like, oh well, it's from a comic book. I get that as an argument, but it's like, well, the comic books are like from the 60s and 70s. And it's like, of course, they're going to have some really reductive presentations of like anyone, right? Like women, people of color, or anyone, right? Like, so I don't really hold that up as an excuse because I think like they are making the game now. So like, well, how are you going to make the skins now? Like if like, you know, if you had a character in the 50s in a comic saying the N-word, you wouldn't be like, well, I'm going to have him canonically say the N-word now because that's what he was like in the lore. You adapt because you're making a game in 2025. So even if there was a skin that was like from Emma Frost that would look exactly like what they put in the game, you have to have that conversation again. I think as a developer, you have to have that conversation again. You'd be like, is this appropriate now though? Like, should we put it in now? We got away with it in the 70s, but what about now? That's just my opinion. Again, I'm very open to all you guys' feedback on this. Bogur, you haven't chimed in a while. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I love hot women. Give me more hot women skins, hot men skins. Put Rocket Raccoon in a Speedo. Fuck it. Let's get it. No, I understand your point. I agree. I think there's definitely more male gaze type of situation in Rivals, but it sells and people like it, and I think it's more into a casual, audience and people. It's a talking point too, right? And I think Emma is slightly with one of the skins a little bit too silly, but.
That skin might have been my background for the first couple weeks she was out. It's all good.
I do think that Emma has always been like this girl boss bitch and slightly sexualized in the comics in the beginning, but I think it could be really bad depending on who you sexualize. If it was, for example, Penny Parker, that would be really weird, right? But yeah, I think it's a little bit over the top. Maybe it's gonna it will be a little bit less in the future. Maybe it's gonna be even more. I don't know. I listen, I don't have strong opinions about it. I'll be honest with you. I think it just really depends on who you ask, right? I think there's definitely games that do it way better. And I think Overwatch, especially with the Doki skins, they're just fucking cool, right? So and I also think there's games that do it way worse too, right? So I don't know. As long as it's not the main focus in the game and they don't release every skin like it, again. I don't know. I think we can. I think everyone can do better, including Rivals. But I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I like hot women. I'll be honest with you. That's my honest to God opinion.
Me too.
Hot women, hot man.
I'm gonna bring up a point from chat because they did bring up a point that I have seen on Twitter a lot, which is there are so many blonde women with blue eyes.
That's true.
And it's so hard to differentiate them in game. So
that is true.
Which I definitely get. I have been like, oh, get the Sue on point, and it's actually just Emma, and I'm like, oh, that's awkward.
In Magult, it's impossible. If they're all three of them are standing next to each other and you're trying to kill one of them, like if it's Invis ult that just went off, like you're trying to kill the Invis to stop the ult, like which one?
Even in their base skins, they all kind of have the same color scheme going on.
It is true, actually. Invisible Woman cloak. Actually, you just look the same, and Emma actually, from a distance, is also kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but maybe I don't know. It just feel like they keep doing the same design, but is it really like Marvel Rivals doing it, or were the characters always like this? I don't know, bro. I'll be honest. I don't fuck with Marvel much. I just fuck with Marvel Rivals. I'll be honest. I don't know what is the lore, so somebody else needs to correct me. But yeah.
Well, again, they definitely changed the visual designs of these used. I've seen like a before and after of Rocket Raccoon, right? Where it's like the original Rocket Raccoon just looks like a fucking raccoon, which is like not a great design.
That'll be fun
to have in like a video game. So obviously they stylize
Just
him.
a
They
PNG of a raccoon.
That would be hilarious
Yeah.
objectively. But like all the characters get stylized, so they're making choices with how they design the characters. And again, I don't think any of this is to say that we should cancel Marvel Rivals or like burn down the building.
No, I don't think it's cancel Marvel Rivals, right?
It's just a conversation.
No, I agree. I think base Emma is like okay, like she is giga hot, right? But like her skin, that is that is the skin. That is definitely a skin. So
Or the Malice skin for
Malice, I think it's just like yeah, right. I think you can do a hot character, but like Jesus Christ, there's wow. So yeah, I think sometimes they go overboard for sure. But
So I want to
Yeah,
ask
I
a
think-
question then.
Yeah.
Do you think those skins sell significantly better than others?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes, that's what.
And
That's why they
what's
make
gonna
them.
make the
That's why they
game
make
That's
them.
why
yeah.
they make
do
them.
well.
Not only does
Yeah.
it sell better, it's also a talking point and draws people into the game.
So like, if people are buying them all the time, right, and they're spending their money on it, isn't that kind of like an indicator to the company that they should make more of those?
Yeah, of course, and they're gonna make more of it for sure. I don't think
Well, this goes back-
Rivals devs are watching this and they're like, yes, we're gonna negate millions of dollars because SVB, Bogur, and
That's true.
Aramori and Flat said we should. No, they're gonna like, fuck no, make more hot women.
The thing is that this just goes back to the same conversation we had earlier about grifty content, right? Flat. So it's like, yeah, this will make more money, but then it's like your ethical responsibility to like do it right? Like, again, I'm not saying that this is unethical. I'm not saying that they are like deserve to be canceled for this, but it's like, yeah, the sexy skins will make the most money, but it's like, well, what is your contribution to the conversation around like female characters as a result, right? And it's like, well, we make busty white women with blue eyes. That's what we do. It's like the Hoyoverse makes a
Yeah.
lot of money too, right? They make a lot of money from their skins too, by having, gratuitous shots of like their ass and like when you're like, like the trailers and stuff. So like, yeah, it'll make money, but that's neither here nor there.
Right. Like, I mean, like going right into a third white woman with blue eyes, right? Like, okay, maybe
We
you
need
know.
a fourth one.
Like, there's tons of
I
people
think so.
to choose from. Hopefully,
Four.
there'll be like more that they choose. Like, you know what I mean? Like, now that they're going to every month, there's going to be a new hero. So I'm sure that the roster is going to get expanded pretty quickly, right? But I mean, as long as like it's equal across the board, right? Like everyone's getting it. It's like they're going to chase whatever is going to give them the most money. And if people are voting with their wallets on that, it's like, I'm not saying it even should be that way, but if it keeps going that way and people that's what people enjoy, and then that's what they want, it's like, well, what do you do? You know?
Yeah, and I fully expect the devs to get the money. Again, I don't think it's not a disaster to society, but it's a conversation. I mean, it's important to have these conversations. I think that just having the conversation is in of itself helpful. Not that necessarily everyone's going to listen to this podcast, but I think it keeps the conversation informed, or we're kind of at least keeping like, hey, can we at least think about this in the future? Like, just think about this. I'm not saying don't make sexy skins, but like, could we do it in different ways? So yeah, any Bogur, you brought this up. Are you happy with the?
I'm a straight white man from Bulgaria. If you ask my honest to God, unbiased opinion, of course I'm happy about hot women. That's why I ask Aramori and other women how they feel about it, because at the end of the day, it's a topic that might affect them in some way. So it's not really something I like. My primal brain goes like booba W, right? So that's why I'm just I feel like I can bring any meaningful conversation or like debate on this topic because booba W, ass W, right? So that's why I ask the women and the girlies what they think, because I think their opinion is more important than what I think. So if they're okay with it, I'm okay with it. If they're not okay with it, I'm not okay with it. It is not the end all be all. If there is no booba skins in Rivals, I'll still play Rivals. If there's booba skins in Rivals, I'll still play Rivals. So
Yeah, I think that gives Aramori the last word on this topic. Aramori.
Yeah.
Do we cancel Marvel Rivals, Aramori? Say it right now.
We do not
decide.
cancel Marvel Rivals. But I don't know. Like I said, I might not be the best person to ask. I kind of also just kind of drool in front of my monitor a little bit. But I do think like the next step for them is to just do it for the men too. I think people will love it if they also gave men like the sexy skins.
Bro,
And I think they have the perfect opportunity to do that with like summer swimsuit
Can I be
stuff.
honest? The men are also hot in this game, extremely hot. I've talked to quite a few girlies, and they're like, "Holy shit! I want Venom. I want Strange. These guys
Venom?
are mine." Venom.
Pause.
Venom. Oh my god! You know how many girlies want Venom? All of them, right? So yeah, I feel like if they, I think it would also sell really hard if they went the same route for some of the male characters.
I agree.
Exactly. Keep it horny. Keep Marvel Rivals horny. There's the hashtag.
Keep gooning, guys. Hashtag goon.
Goon harder. Goon harder.
Goon harder.
I didn't say that.
Keep gooning, guys.
Put a picture of Flats
though.
and then just a goon harder underneath. That's the banner. Go ahead,
Aramori. My last point is I would like to see more diversity and not just like the blonde, like
yeah, for sure.
blue-eyed women. They definitely need to not make a hero like that for a while. Please.
No. Next hero, Ultron will be blonde and white with blue.
Yeah. Maybe not his default skin, but he has a skin that just turns him into a hot, blonde, blue-eyed woman. Yeah.
Please. Please.
Everybody gets to see that. They like scrap the swimsuits. Everybody gets a blonde, blue-eyed woman skin now.
That would be funny. Actually, really, really funny.
I've seen people asking for, because Loki has like a female version of himself. I've seen people ask for like a female Loki skin and stuff.
Yeah, they do that in Dota. They have like some gender swap skins where like the voice
Those would
acting
be
and
cool.
stuff changes.
Oh,
it's actually
I don't know
cool.
if I could do that.
Yeah, why not just hire another voice actor and like just change? Like it would be really easy. Well, I say really.
They can do
it's
anything.
doable. It's doable. You just like
just sell it for $50, bro. Imagine.
Legit though, legit. Like so, they're in Dota. They're like called like Arcana, so they're like really rare. So like they're really sought after. So you just get like the gender swap, and people love it. People, any chance they get, they rock it. So I'm sure it would go hard in Marvel Rivals too, especially if it's like canonically, as you're saying with Loki. That would, and Captain America like is like a title, right? So technically, like anyone could be Captain America. So yeah, why not have some swapped versions?
Ooh, interesting.
Okay, any other thoughts on this topic before we move on? Okay, Bogur, you happy now? We broached that topic. You're happy now?
I love it.
Good, you feel satisfied.
I got to ban a few people in chat, so I think it was a good way to clean up.
It's true. You periodically need to bring up a controversial topic so you can find all the weirdos and just be like, all right, you get out. Okay. Well, let's head to like the last major section, which will just be balance. And we'll just talk about balance now because, we haven't explicitly talked about balance in the game. But this is another area I've seen a lot of people complain about. And even sounds like you guys, one of the reasons you're not having fun is that it doesn't feel like the balance is all that hot. So talk to me about Marvel Rivals balancing Season 2. Flats, you go first.
Again, I'm just here for a good time, hopefully for a long time. I just want to spectate and see how things go because everyone has argued for forever that balance doesn't matter and that balancing for fun is the way. And also, if everything's OP, then nothing's OP. And now here you go. Like, you have new things that are OP. You don't like the new things that are OP. Okay, well, and then that's maybe something that's considered in balance. So, I mean, like, I won't lie though, at least for my own personal enjoyment, I don't find playing tank that much fun this season, but then also it's not rewarding because if I play something that I'm not having a good time with, but I get rewarded for it with my points, I'm cool with that. I'll do that every day of the week. But if I play something I'm not having fun with and I also get shafted for it, absolutely not. I'm not in for that. Like I don't want to have to play 2 games of something I don't like to win enough points on some while filling for someone else who gets to play what they want to play. And
you
they
can
get
say
max
Bogur.
points.
Why you say fuck me for?
But yeah, it's just like it's just kind of stupid. And it's not really that enjoyable for me. Personally, I guess. And it just I don't know, just hasn't been as an attractive option for me, at least personally. I don't know if I want to say like certain other things should be buffed or nerfed, but like you know, obviously that this current patch, I don't think they changed anything too wildly in terms of like numbers wise. They just changed how a couple characters worked with like Iron Fist and Mr. Fantastic. They buffed a few smaller things, but it's a culmination of other smaller buffs over time. So it's like, well, what do you do now? You're gonna listen to those complaints, or you're gonna say like, oh, are the win rates, you know, are the win rates still around 50%? Because if the win rates around 50%, then they're probably not gonna make the change, right? Because the data says it's balanced. So I'm interested to see what that philosophy starts to look like long term. Are they going to be react to community type of balancers? Are they going to be 50-50 win rate type of balancers? Who knows?
We've played these games before again. Aramori, how do you feel about the balance? I mean, especially from a pro perspective.
They haven't done much of it, like, yet, right? So it's kind of to be seen, right? I do know that in response to the community strategist strike, there was a like dev note thing that came out, unless that was falsified. But I do think they actually did post something.
They made a dev chat. It was like
okay.
They were like, yeah, we're gonna change how it works. We saw that some heroes are getting screwed over, but they also at the end said, listen, guys, it's kind of a skill issue. They made it really long, but they said like some characters, yeah, they're kind of cooked, but we like the system. I think we're gonna keep it. And if you're not getting as many points as is used to, it is intended, right? So in a way, they're like, it's kind of a skill issue.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of like response to that, and I think in one part of that they were telling like DPS players to peel more for their strategists or something, and then the strategist players were like all vindicated. They're like, take that, Necros, they told us you guys need to peel for us and it's not our fault. So I don't know, it's just I wanted to bring that up earlier. I couldn't have the time to really do it, but in that whole dev talk they did say they were going to nerf Groot and I think cap survivability a little bit, and they didn't say what that looked like exactly. But I do think those are healthy changes. And then they said, and what I was scared of with this whole like strategist strike is that they were going to go the Overwatch route of, okay, let's make it so we have other tools to live longer and we're going to never die and we're going to buff the strategist survivability. And they actually said, well, we're going to buff strategists, but we're going to buff their damage output, which I know that's something that Flat said earlier he was scared of. So I'm interested to see what that looks like. They've already committed to it. They've already said they're going to do it.
I think the funniest thing was that they said they're nerfing Spider-Man and buffing support. So
it was specifically the fuck Necros patch, specifically.
Yeah, they were like, you know what? You guys are right. Fuck that guy.
But I do like that direction more than just here's more healing numbers, here's shorter cooldown on your survivability abilities and things like that. Because I think like things like Loki, immortality, and like Adam, Link, and like all these really long, basically invulnerability cooldowns, they're so much longer than Overwatch. I think it's like a 35 seconds, I believe, on Loki, and then it's almost like 40 on Adam, something
it's
like that.
It's over 40 on Adam now after the nerfs.
Yeah,
I think it's 40 something. No,
which means if you use it at the end of a fight, you won't have it for the next fight, which is really interesting. I don't think there's anything really like that in Overwatch except for Mercy Res, potentially.
I mean, they're really strong cooldowns. Like they can swing a fight.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't want them to lower that in any capacity. So I think instead, like trying to play with the damage numbers so you can maybe force out that 1000 HP Venom that's in your backline could be interesting. But again, it's not the direction I would like them to go of nerfing those guys just a little bit. Make it so their swing is a little bit extra cooldown. They can't just go in and out constantly. Maybe have to think about that, but yeah, nerf Venom.
Give me nerf Venom and Camp. Like fuck these characters, like specifically. I don't even like playing Venom. I want them to nerf Venom, so I'm never asked to play Venom. Just fuck that character. It's the gameplay loop is climb on a wall, slam, right click, hold mouse 1, eat 50 stuns, get 10 million HP, swing out, repeat, and then combo with Luna ult when you get your ult, and it's like, W guys, I got it, I'm insane. It's like, shut up.
Yeah. I don't think it's hard to play Venom. Like, I think it's pretty easy to just go in and slam, but the time and skill it takes to force him out is too much for
it takes no
the
skill.
little
You need
amount of
50
skill.
people shooting him. He's like a tank, bro. I mean, the actual tank, not a character tank, like an actual tank. He's like, he takes so much because he gets so much HP, and then you ult, and then you get 50 more thousand HP, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I want those characters nerfed.
Do you think that
can we nerf Strange as well? Might as well. Just nerf Strange.
While we're at it, just throw in. He's the new Genji now, like just a nerf.
Yeah,
Genji.
just nerf him again.
I was gonna say, like, maybe this is a good segue into concluding thoughts as well, but like you said, Flats, earlier that like people are starting to have the role queue conversation again. Is that gonna come up in Marvel Rivals now with all of this, like,
it already has started.
And we had one, then it died down. Because I remember even you, Bogur, were like, "Oh, we need roll queue," and then everyone's like, "Actually."
I was young and I was stupid. I changed my opinion quickly. Okay, that's the thing. I changed.
So that's what I'm saying. we had. I'm not trying to say that that's like a gotcha. I'm just saying we had that brief moment where people were like, "Do we need a roll queue?" And then actually, even you were like, "No, actually, let's go open queue." I've sort of thought about it, open queue. But now we're like maybe going back to like, "Oh, should we have a roll queue?"
But people think that it's just gonna solve it. I'm sorry for cutting it, but it's just like it's not gonna solve it. It's just gonna introduce more. We've played these games before, bro. We've had these games before. There's no reason to even debate it. We have it documented. All right, so I don't know. Go ahead, Flats. I will allow you to speak. I'm sorry.
Thank you for allowing me to speak, Bo.
I got you.
I think that a lot of people are in for a wake-up call in the next couple weeks that they don't actually like the hero shooter genre. I think that there's a very large majority of people that have been playing this game because their own game sucks. COD, Valorant, I wouldn't say sucked, but like for a bit there was a lot of Valorant people that were kind of like, "Hey, what's going on here?" Apex, a lot of the Apex streamers and players are playing Rivals, although apparently Apex is actually doing pretty decent. They had they had some big changes or something. And so Rivals has just been a culmination of players, Overwatch players, Apex, Valorant, COD, and I think they're starting to realize they don't actually like hero shooters. And there's a reason why they play those other games as their main game. And they're going to be hit with that wake up call, and they're starting to get hit with that wake up call right now. And it's unfortunate. It really is. But that's why I think the honeymoon phase is over. Oh, Fortnite too. Forgot about Fortnite. The honeymoon phase is pretty much over. It is over, actually. And it doesn't matter what this balance happens, because I've been streaming on YouTube and Twitch this entire time. And when we started talking about balance, I saw a few people that are like, this game's already ruined by pro players. They're listening to pro players for balance. And I'm like, damn, dude, no matter what actually gets said, they're going to probably think that. Which is why I want them to go like full casual, as casual as they can. Even though it probably won't necessarily be the point where earlier is like it'll always shift. It doesn't even matter if it's correct. People will still say like the opposite and go for it. I just don't want to see just what would happen. Because even though I don't think it's like dead, it's definitely declined significantly. There's data that the publicly available data we have backs that. You can go to Steam charts. Now, before you sit there and go, "Ooh, it's just Steam charts." I guarantee Steam charts, though, are an indicator. If you look at the player base from January 1st, when they had their Season 1 patch, that was their peak, to where it is now, and you look at how it's slid pretty significantly. Then you had Season 1.5, then you had Season 2. The launch of Season 2 peaked at around 300,000 players. Launch of Season 1 peaked around like 650,000 players on Steam. I guarantee if you looked at console numbers, which we don't have publicly available, I bet it was about the same in terms of like percentage-wise. Like they lost about half their players from Season 1 to Season 2. And from Season 2 to Season 2.5, I bet there's another drop. I don't think it's going to be a 50% drop, but I bet there's another drop as well. And then Season 3, there'll probably be another drop as well until it hits the point where it's about sustained. And then one of three things is going to happen. They have to have something that's going to cause people to become invested long-term. In Apex, it was ALGS with pro play, but people in this game seem very, very resistant to pro play, and they've seemed very, very resistant to it. So you can't do that. So it's like, what are they going to do to keep people's attention long term, other than just like having them come back at the beginning of a season to come play a new hero for a week or two? And I think that's the reason why they actually they're changing their system to that, is the monthly system. And they're like, and we all just talked about like, oh, it's going to be balancing nightmare. It's going to be a mess. Well, they probably have a bunch of heroes they've been sitting on and like working on, and they're just going to speed up the timeline because they need to just pump that and juice it as hard as they can, because it's better to juice really hard when you have 200,000 average players daily than when you'll have 100 or 50,000 or less. And they're going to try to maximize and make as much money as possible, which is why you see all the stuff that we see. And they're going to go as hard as they can and burn that candle at both ends, because I think that there's some executive on the Rivals NetEase side that saw the writing on the wall. For those who don't know, Rivals was not popular in Korea and not nearly as popular in China as it was in the West, in Europe, and in the United States. When we went to Spotlight, Bogur was there. There was Korean streamers who came up to speak with us.
Oh my god, it was so funny. We asked. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
You tell them. You tell them. No, I don't want to say it. You tell them.
It was really funny because I just approached there and we were talking about it. And then I think somebody mentioned Marvel Rivals, and they said, Marvel Rivals, you play that game? It was like a complete shock, because we were like, wait, you don't play Marvel Rivals? Like, no, like we don't play Marvel Rivals. And it was
For
like,
context,
wait.
This was early February, by the way.
Yes, it was so surreal. So like, it was crazy.
What did they say about it? Did they say anything about anything after?
I don't remember because I was drunk. No, I was joking. I wasn't drunk, but I remember exactly what we were talking about.
And you cut him off to tell the story?
No, I didn't want to. I was just reacting to the like situation because I was also off guard, like caught so off guard in that moment. Because to me and to us, Marvel Rivals was so popular
Right.
that I couldn't believe that they themselves didn't like. They couldn't believe that we played Rivals. It was such like, wait, you guys play that game?
Is it actually as big as you guys are making?
Yeah, they didn't believe that we played the game, and to me it was such a shock, right? So that's why I want to cut in because to me as well, I really want to amplify that it was genuinely quite surprising that they didn't care about the game at all.
Yeah, and they straight up were like, hey, like, are you guys just joking? Like, is it actually a big deal over there? Because here didn't even make a dent. Like, nobody cared. Like, it came out and everyone, okay, cool. Kept playing like what they played. It didn't make its way into like PC cafes, PC bangs. It's not like a big deal. They just couldn't have cared less. Same thing apparently in China as well. And actually, China Overwatch re-released in China recently, so
Yeah.
they don't have their competition there. Well, so like they could have had it, so their competition wasn't there, but they're back. And so I think that it's very heavily leaning on that Western audience to support it and to carry it. And the thing is, if I've learned anything, this is gonna suck to say out loud, but Westerners are babies about this stuff, about gaming. I'll give you an example. Back in Overwatch, Korean players were very confused about patches and about balance, because we would have certain things like nerf Mauga or nerf Orisa or whatever, because they would just be dominating our ladder. And they would be like, why the fuck are you guys balanced? Like, why the fuck did Orisa get a nerf? Like, that character's not even good. Or like Mauga got a nerf. It's like, why the fuck are they balancing that? Like, there's nothing there. What are you guys talking about? And they actually sort of believed that you didn't even need those balance patches. Like, they'll figure it out. Like, it'd be fine. Like, if anything, they balance too often. And whenever I spoke to any Korean players or people who played Overwatch in Korea, they were very confused all the time and were like, you guys react so hard. You guys like shift really, really like quickly. And like a lot of that sentiment was not shared among them. And so if they're going to lean really hard on that Western audience, they're probably going to learn very quickly that the Western audiences also react very hard, very quickly, and they will move on very quickly as well. So I think that's why they're trying their best to lean into that. And I don't think that patch, that post they put out is a mistake. I think that was very calculated to say we're going to buff all supports and we're nerfing Spider-Man. I think that was a read of the community and what was happening. That might be cynical, but I don't think they're dumb. I think they're very smart. I think they keep an eye on the way things are going. And I think that was a cold, calculated move by them. And I wonder if that'll continue in the future.
Aramori, did you
Yeah.
have something to add?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of surreal, but I was on TikTok after those patch notes hit, and it genuinely was like a wave of like, we won, we beat Necros, like, and it was like multiple TikToks of actual people like in their gaming rooms, like 100,000 likes, like we beat Necros. Crazy to think
I love
about,
the idea
right?
that
Like,
Necros is the major villain of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the Rivals tier.
yeah,
Like,
and,
He's gonna
and
be the
Bogur
villain in the next
sometimes
Battle
mentioned you.
Pass.
exactly.
He's the next Battle Pass villain.
Go ahead, Armor. Finish your thought.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I totally agree with Flats. It is bizarre though, and it does make me worry about the future of the game that like Korea and China are not on board, right? And I know there are teams in Korea and a team in China that have come from Overwatch, right? So we know them and they play and they compete, but it does make me like fear for at least like the pro scene, right? I don't know.
No,
I
you're
feel
right.
like
Go ahead.
Korea is a very important market to have, and not having it is kind of scary.
No, you're right. I think the most successful, if you want to be successful as an esport, you need like a global audience because just having a Western audience is never enough. I just going off of other games. So you're very right in that it is particularly for the esport. Like maybe as a game you can still be very profitable because there's a lot of money in North America and Western Europe. But I think like from a purely the hype around like an esport, you kind of want a global audience. So yeah, and you have to remember that Marvel as a franchise is like so American centric, right? It's like that. There's like have you ever seen that that little map of like where superheroes are from, and it's like New York has like this like one little section of New York where it's like 80 heroes all live in this little vicinity where it's like there's Spider-Man here, like Daredevil's
So
over here,
safe.
this guy's over here. Like it's so many come from that area that it's like understandable why it doesn't have necessarily the same global pull. And like Overwatch by comparison obviously was never like, even though it's by a Western developer, it was never like set in America per se, right? It was never like centered around America. It's like stuff happened around the world, so it's a bit more relatable in that way.
And this is just like a random thought, but Diva was kind of like an icon in Korea when like for like women's rights and things like with the release of Overwatch. So maybe that helped. I'm not sure, but it's just kind of interesting that we just don't have any impact in that way at all. Yeah. Anyways.
No, it's a very interesting thing. I'm sure the devs are thinking about it, and that's probably why, as Flat said, they're probably like, look, guys, we're not going to win over the Asian audience. Let's just hard lean into what Western Europe and North America want, which I think is a sound business strategy. Like that's probably true. Okay, any more thoughts on this front before we head to like concluding thoughts, gamers? Flats, Bogur, anything else you want to add on this topic?
Nah, bro. I agree with what Flat said, even if I cut him off. But I just completely forgot that interaction. It was completely deleted from my head. So the moment I heard it, it was like a button, like it just flooded in my brain. I was like, holy fuck, that actually happened. I forgot completely. But it's just so surreal. I wonder why it's not that popular. Maybe just because Marvel isn't that popular in Korea and China. I think it's popular in China. Either way, we can think about it.
It is popular in China, I think.
I don't know. It's an interesting thing because in the West it's so popular, but it's just not popular over there.
I think where it is, again, I can't speak for Korea and China. I can give you a little bit of insight from India because obviously being Indian, I still keep in touch with like what's going on. The films are popular, but they're not a culture in the same way that they are like a cultural cornerstone in like the Western world, right? Where it's like, when Marvel started becoming big, you started seeing like, like in the Big Bang Theory, like you're getting jokes about like Marvel heroes and you're getting like pop culture discussions around these things. And like people want to start identifying as like Marvel nerds, right? Like people are like, I'm a Marvel guy. And like you wear like a Marvel t-shirt. For example, in India, they're like, yeah, like they'll like the movies, they'll watch the movies, but then they will like respond to it in their own way. So like you have your own superheroes in India, right? Like they have their own superheroes. And then Bollywood will make their own spin-offs, right? So like Bollywood had a lot of really popular spin-off superhero films that were like essentially Marvel-esque, Marvel-inspired, but they were, their own things. So it doesn't necessarily sit as the same cultural cornerstone. So I think when Marvel Rivals came out, it's like a bunch of like fans of the franchise are like, oh, Marvel Rivals, I want to see what this is about. And the cultural conversation is a lot more prevalent. Whereas I don't think awesome cat tax. Thank you for paying the cat tax. We approve. I don't think it has the same cultural impact. Again, I can't speak for like China and Korea, but that would be my guess. Bogur?
Maybe it's because the game runs like shit.
That's also a possibility. Especially for a PC Bang audience.
I mean, somebody in chat said, it's a long time viewer, they were like, it's purely because the game just doesn't run well on PC Bangs and stuff. It's like, it's just going to run like shit. You can't just put a run. Okay. Slide Overwatch Glaze. That game is so optimized. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, just playing some Overwatch recently, 300, 400 FPS on max graphics, it's crazy, right? So in Rivals, impossible. I get 200, sometimes it dips below 140 when something happens, right? So I just can't imagine that people are gonna invest into crazy PCs just to run Marvel Rivals. It's just crazy cost, you know, and people aren't gonna even play the game. So I think also like India and like the Balkans and like maybe South America, we don't really have that much money, right? So like I've talked to Tony Key, he said South America doesn't really fuck with Marvel Rivals, right? So his audience doesn't really transition that well. But with Overwatch, especially since it's free to play, the game runs on everything. It actually just runs so well and looks so well and everything. It just pulls people in. One of the few reasons why Overwatch didn't pop off in the beginning here was because it cost $60, and that's a lot of money. But now I've seen more and more people play it because it's free to play and runs on everything. So maybe there's like even if it's free to play, you need to pay to actually play in the terms of that you need an actual good PC or something decent to have decent FPS. So maybe in that sense, that is one of the reasons why the game isn't popping off in these regions.
Yeah, these are all relevant factors. I think they all contribute, right? Like all these things, like PC Bang, price points, running, like all these things are. And even like, you know, you said like, I think was it Flats who said about like the culture, right? Like maybe Western gamers are a bit more baby, like Korean players, like the culture of gaming is so much different, like so much more hardcore there that like, you know, you kind of maybe they were like, fuck this is like a casual game. Like we want a hardcore game, you know, like there are all these factors that contribute. Okay, anything else more before we head to concluding thoughts, gamers? No? All right, then. Let's get your concluding thoughts, as we always do. What do you want to see from the rest of, let's say, Season 2? This is the Season 2 debate. What do you want to see in the rest of Season 2 that will make you personally happy? And yes, Bogur, I know it's going to be the death of Necros and hot women, but anything else you want to add?
Yes.
Anything else you want to add?
I want more Strange nerfs, more Iron Fist buffs. I'm joking. Slightly buff Strange, slightly nerf Emma, nerf Iron Fist, nerf the Human Vape, nerf Groot, which is happening. I just nerf the annoying character slightly. Nerf Emma slightly, because I want up to play other tanks as well. Because I'm kind of like, Emma is really fun, but I will get bored, right? Maybe bring back one kneecap for Strange. I think that would be good. And I really hate the system. I hate performance-based RR game. I think it's stupid. It's a team-based game. I think it's inherently egoistical to believe that one player deserves way more points than everybody else. So I just genuinely just disagree with that system because like the reason why DPS is popping off is because of the supports and the tanks and maybe the other DPS. Like the game is never winnable in a 5v6 situation, right? It's very important to have every part. And sometimes somebody gets fucked in the ass, and that's why you're winning the game. I don't think that person getting fucked in the ass deserves to win less points than everyone else. At least I don't think it should be such a big disparity. I think the people that are popping off might get a few more points and lose a little less, but you shouldn't lose 8 points. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and you shouldn't lose 28 points. It's also insane, right? Or win 28 points or like whatever. The disparity is too long. So yeah, maybe swap things around slightly there. That would be great. And yeah.
That's
wait.
Yeah.
Custom games are dog shit in this game. Actually horrendous. The like there's barely any settings in custom games. Please give settings to us, and I promise you the game is going to pop off even more because people can do silly stuff and make silly content out of it. Just give us more custom game settings, okay? That shit is ass. It's actually like 2 buttons that you have. It's actually surreal that they don't have more settings in custom games.
Hey, they added a pause feature this patch.
Thank God. But please give us more settings.
Yeah, I could sense Aramori was really vibing with that one as someone who presumably has to spend a lot of time in custom games.
Yeah.
Let's go to Flats and then we'll finish off with Aramori. Flats, what are your humble demands? I presume humble. Could be grandiose.
I don't know if I have any demand. More of like hopes, I guess. Not even demand. It's more of like a hope that some of the more cynical stuff is wrong and that it will be proven wrong. Whether it's through community actions, whether it's through the game's actions, between what they do. Although I don't think that'll actually come to pass. My hope is that it does. My hope is we're wrong. That's genuinely my hope. The only thing I guess want is the rank system. Just they've got it. I know they doubled down on it, and like if you really want to keep performance based gains, I'm cool with it. But it should be like, let's say baseline, you win, you get plus 25, you lose minus 25. It should be a like 2, 3, 4 point modifier. Like if you popped off, you get 29 points. If you sucked balls, you lose 21, right? Like sorry, you lose 29. You know what I mean? If you played well but lost, lose 21, right? Like the difference, losing 28 points and or potentially losing 8 or gaining 8 or gaining 12 is so wildly just stupid. Like just wildly. It's like this doesn't even make sense because the hero shooter genre has never, ever been dictated by scoreboard stats. Like you can be the biggest stat farmer on the planet, play Iron Man and sit 10 miles back and just poke damage at their tanks. I bet you'll finish that game with 45,000 damage. And guess what? You did fuck all. If anything, you helped your team lose because you fed support all charge. Like, congrats, idiot. It's like that doesn't matter, man. Like that, what should be winning matter to the stat is winning and losing. If you want to talk about popping off and someone did really fucking good, give them a few extra points. If they did really suck, you can lose a few more points. But I also don't know, because the amount of stupidity that I read every day of like, I don't know if it's just rage bait or what, but it's like, it's simple. You just play well, you get more points. If you suck, you lose more. Skill issue. And it's like, no, you're an idiot. Like you're legitimately fucking stupid. Like you don't even know what you're even saying. Like you genuinely have no idea what you're talking about. You're just yapping. And I see more of that every single day. And with a game like this, if we're going to be doing wild community reactions and stuff like that, like how long until a wildly wrong opinion takes shape and gets to be the standard confined, like, oh, this is correct? And do we all get fucked from it? Who knows? Who knows at this point? I'm here for the ride. I'm here to watch.
Flats in his conclusion name dropping the title of my autobiography, which is The Amount of Stupid Shit I Read Every Day. So that is
wait, actually
no. I don't have an autobiography. Maybe someday. Who knows? If I'm even vaguely important enough to.
I could totally see you writing a book. I'm just throwing it out there.
You totally could too.
I'd read it.
I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate that. Maybe someday. Aramori, how about you? What are your desires?
I'm fine with performance-based SR. Maybe that's bad. Maybe I'm being too optimistic about it.
You are the problem, Aramori.
Yeah, maybe I am the problem.
Players.
Usually when I lose, I don't lose that much. When I win a lot. So that's awesome. Great for me. Farming. Woohoo! I don't mind it. If they get rid of it, they get rid of it. If they keep it, they keep it. I'll play. I don't care either way. I don't think that much. Yeah, Emma could use some tuning. Bogur, I think Bogur's right. I think Bogur has convinced me a little bit. She should probably be tuned a little bit, but I do think she is a really fun character. Ever since she's been in the game, I haven't seen the thing, and that guy, I hate him. He punches me, and there's not too much I can really do except for run away. Yeah. I do think that Torch is a little strong right now. I've had some like 10-minute games where they just have 40,000 damage, and it's like, okay, that seems really fair and balanced and really good. And he also has this combo. He can just fly down and one-shot your supports. It's also really, really cool. With a giant knockback. So if you're in a Sue ult, he
gets shields.
Toss you. Yeah, he could just toss you out of your ult. Awesome. That's great. You should probably be tuned a little bit, but really concluding thoughts. I'm chilling with the season. I don't have major complaints. Necros was right. Hashtag Necros was right.
Oh,
I'm taking the stance.
drama.
I
The
wasn't here.
CEO of support.
No, I think the devs will probably end up doing, I don't know, they'll do a change or either rebat or good, and I'll keep playing either way. And then go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think I don't know. I still have fun playing like tryharding and ranked, and I think it's still getting
Yeah.
competitive at the peak. Like I think it's really competitive, and I think it's fun. I think everything below is a shit show. I'll be honest with you. It's an absolute fucking mess over there. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm chilling. I like grinding. I think Aramori can also agree. The grind is fun. I think the game does a level of skill expression. I think that's fun.
Yeah, and we said this I think last time we were
Yeah.
on the podcast, but high level rivals play feels a lot like GOATs did, where like every cooldown there's like a nuance to it and it matters a lot. I mean, obviously this meta is a bit different. It just feels like dive, right? But the feeling of like outplayability is there a lot and is very interesting and fun. But yeah, to kind of summarize, Booba's good. Let's make sexy skins for
True.
for everybody. And I'll be happy.
Crotch skins, let's go right now.
Balls out. Name more balls out.
Balls out
Yeah.
for the
Balls
war.
out is
Balls out for
insane.
Aramori.
Balls
for
out.
Aramori.
Balls out. Aramori. Wait.
Balls
no,
out
no,
for
wait,
Aramori
wait.
and
That
flats.
might be insane.
Flats Goon harder. This is the nothing else you should take away from this podcast. It's balls out for Aramori and Goon harder with a picture of flats. There you go. Bogur, do you want a catchphrase? Do you want a slogan?
If you guys choose one, yeah.
I'm sure he says, "I love grinding." That's Bogur's.
I love
Yeah.
grinding. I love grinding.
grinding.
Keep grinding.
Grind harder. Goon harder and grind harder. You two can duo.
Can we have like this pose where I'm like this and then
You're
like,
you're really serious. Like you're really like this is sunglasses and flats is like really silly. He's like Goon harder guy.
I mean, I don't think they can take both of us in the same picture because Flats just towers over me. So I it's gonna be
It's
a
like
really
they need
funny
like
picture.
two Bogurs stacked in a trench coat. to,
Yeah, I
like,
think
sit
two
alongside.
Bogers is like maybe two Bogers can maybe reach Flats height.
Maybe. Okay, well there you go. That's something for you guys to do if you ever have like another creator spotlight. Make sure you find another person to put underneath Bogur, put Bogur on top of the trench coat, and see what that looks like. Okay, gamers, anything else you want to say before I let you get going?
No, I'm chilling.
No? Okay, well thank you very much to Bogur, Flats, and Aramori as always for their time and
Thank
company.
you,
Appreciate you guys very
SVB.
much. Much love. Always a pleasure
Bye.
talking to you, and can always reach out to me whenever you need. So thanks guys, have a great rest of your day. Peace out.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.